Let's get it. Wait a minute, green light, and we are, oh my gosh, we are so good to go. Hey guys, how you going? So down BKRsport. We are so good to go for week 2. Oh, well, actually, I guess it's week 3 of the NRL preseason. Actually, I just realised I have that to my speakers. Okay, now I've got it on my headset. This is actually technically week 3 of the preseason because 2 weeks ago you did have those games with the Bulldogs, the Knights, the Cowboys, and the Dragons all playing, and that was the first week. And then last week we had everyone playing. There was 8 games of footy. Sorry, the Broncos, who lost this morning to Hull KR 30-24 in a very cracker game. That was for sure. They obviously didn't play last week, and they won't feature a part of the preseason. That is their preseason, effectively. Besides, like a game where it wasn't even their main stars at all, playing up against, what was it, Winnermanly Seagulls? I think they had a preseason game there. So look, this is the final week of the preseason. Next week we do have the first round of the NRL season. How exciting is that? Obviously, Vegas is next week, where you're going to see some absolutely gangbuster games, man. I hope you're extremely excited for a massive day worth of Bulldogs, Dragons, Knights and Cowboys. What a day. What an absolutely fantastic day there. But that's next week we have to worry about and be concerned about. For this week, we have plenty of games on offer. Obviously, Warriors and Dolphins coming up now in about 25 minutes' time. Then we've got the Tigers versus the Panthers later on today. Both of these games do have full-strength teams pretty much. You'll see that across the entirety of the weekend, though, because teams are really ramping up towards the season now. Then tomorrow, we have 3 games. We'll be live for all of them. Sharks versus the Raiders, Roosters versus the Eels, and in the Storm against the unbelievable, undefeated, may never lose a game again, Gold Coast Titans. And on Sunday, we have the final game of the preseason, which is Rabbitohs versus Manly. So a lot less games this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games this week compared to what you would normally be used to with the 8. But that is because there is no Bulldogs, Dragons, Knights and Cowboys because they're off to Vegas, and there is no Broncos because they're too busy losing in Hull. So let's get on to today's game, which is the Warriors versus the Dolphins. Obviously, guys, hit that like button and subscribe if you are new around here. We're absolutely pumping along. We're really looking forward to absolutely slapping the season as per usual. Now, the Warriors and the Dolphins last week, the Dolphins obviously lost to the mighty Gold Coast Titans. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, Dolphins, what are you doing? They lost 24-12 with the Titans having pretty understrength team compared to the Dolphins, who played pretty much their full strength minus Herbie Farnworth and Hamiso, who are playing here today. So that was disappointing for the Dolphins last week, especially being at home at KO Stadium in Redcliffe. So they're going to be definitely looking to bounce back, even though it's just a preseason. Actually, I should, before I get into this, guys, this is preseason. Even though they're full strength teams, please take it with a grain of salt. Like, look, the Dragons versus the Rabbitohs last week wasn't great at all. You know, to lose with a full-strength team against a very, very much C team, if that Rabbitohs team, they lost in a big one there, that was really disappointing. But overall, that doesn't necessarily mean that I now think they're going to come last, even though a lot of people will lean that way. Preseason, the intention just isn't there in comparison to what you're going to get in the week-to-week basis of the NRL season, right? So do take it with an understanding of how your team is performing coming into the games, but always wait until 5 to 7 rounds in, more so on the upper end there of the 6-7. Don't start, Daz, mate. Don't do the number. But more so wait around those 6-7 rounds in, where you will then start to understand where your team is performing. So, look, it can be very disappointing, but overall, the Roosters never usually take the preseason seriously whatsoever. We saw it last week against the Tigers as well, and we'll see what they're like this week when... Who do they play this week, actually, the Chooks? Okay, yeah, everything's just going to go haywire. Everything's going to go haywire. Okay, no, there we go. The Roosters play the Eels this week, so surely they'd be looking to get a win there. But the Eels looked good last week, despite a very heavily depleted Sharky side. So yeah, look, the Dolphins lost to the Titans 24-12, and the Warriors. Now, this was a disappointing one because they had a much strengthier side than what you saw from the Manly Seagulls, and Manly actually won that game 33-18. Joey Walsh, she's a star, son. Joe Walsh, she's coming up the system there at Manly. Jamal Fogarty, watch your back. Luke Brooks, watch your back, because Joe Walsh He is coming, and lost 33-18 to them. So that was disappointing because, like, you look at the team roster from the Warriors game in that one. Look, they didn't have guys like Chance Nickel-Klokstad and obviously Tamati Martin, who was playing in the Multi All-Stars game, and then unfortunately got injured as well. No Luke Metcalf. Apparently, he's not back to round 7, which is what I found out on this morning's stream during the Broncos versus Hull game. Like, there was a couple of guys out, but their forward pack was pretty much what you would expect, minus, I guess, like James Fisher-Harris and whatnot. Which is big out, don't get me wrong. But overall, the Warriors had Aaron Clark, they had Kurt Catewell, they had Jackson Ford, they had Wade Egan, they had Tanner Boyd, who's meant to be a big part of their team this year. They had Leka Halasima, Ali Leotawa, and that's about it. But overall, that is a strong team. It is a strong team that should have been beaten. A Manly team that only really had, I guess, Corey Waddle. Joe Walsh will be in their team this year, not necessarily a starter though. And that's really about it for their actual starters. So you would have wanted them to win that game, but ultimately they didn't, and it's not like you should be losing any sleep over it, right? You shouldn't be. Now let's go through these two-team lineups here for today's game. The Warriors, they come into the preseason game from 11th, and the Dolphins are in 10th. Reminder, preseason, you get 12 points for a win. You get a bonus point if you hit 5+ line breaks. You get a bonus point if you get 10+ offloads, and you get a bonus point if you get 5+ tries. So the Warriors and Dolphins, they pretty much can't win it from here, with the Cowboys being on 27, and I think at max, I'll scroll down and see actually how many points they did. Obviously they can't because they lost their first game, so just forget me. Forget me. Neither one of these two teams can win the preseason, unfortunately. But the Warriors team lineup ins: Adam Pompey, Charles Newell-Gluckstad, Daniel Martinez-Lesniak, Jacob Laban, and Taine Tuapiki, with the outs being Brandon Norris, Dion Amituanai, Dimitri Kvamalga, Harrison Inch, Harry Tawa, Fiafi Latoy, and Jacob Auloa. Now, the fullback is Charles Newell-Klukstad. The wingers, Daniel Martinez-Lesniak and Hazen Mellars. Centres of Ali Leotawa and Adam Pompey. You go to the 5'8", which is Luke Hansen, and the halfback, which is Tanner Boyd. Front row forwards are Tanner Stowers-Smith and Jackson Ford. Number 9 is Wade Egan. Then you got the back row of Kurt Catewell, who is the captain, and Jacob Laban, and then Aaron Clark is the lock. Interchange, Sam Healy, Morgan Gannon, Leka Halasima, and Eddie Jeremiah Tuava. And the reserves, who you will see feature today because it is unlimited interchange in the preseason: Taine Tuapiki, Kalis Fatialofa, Jack Thompson, Makaya Tafua, Motu Pasikala, Sio Kali, Kalis Paul Patoko, Geronimo Doyle, Rodney Tuipoloto Vea, and Paya Sickle Vea. The guys that I'm noticeably missing here: when is Mitchell Barnett fit? When is Mitchell Barnett meant to return? Maybe I'm just crazy here, but he's on track to return early in the 2026 NRL season, with reports suggesting he could be back as early as round 1 or round 2. Okay, so he's still just obviously kicking back until the season does come back underway. And then James Fisher-Harris obviously not playing here today. And Lofiana Khan-Pereira is also another noticeable out there. He played in the Indigenous game last week. I'm not too sure whether this is an injury or he's actually just keeping himself, or they're just keeping him out of this game based off the fact that he had that high-intensity matchup last week in that 16-16 draw between Māori and Indigenous. But when it comes to injuries and whatnot, let me know in the chat if I'm missing something here, because I did, again, find out that Metcalf isn't meant to be back until round 7 later on in the early part of the season. Now, for the Dolphins, their ins: Adequix, Jeremiah Watts-Luke, Brent Wolfe, Herbie Farnworth, Kobe Nikarima, Kulikefu Finifiuyaki, and Trey Fuller, with the outs being Callum Bales, Felice Kafusi, Jack Finnegan, Lauloto Saleh, Lewis Simons, Matthew Milson, Toby Batten, and Tyrese Tate. The fullback is Trey Fuller, with the wingers being Jermaine Asako and Selwyn Cobbo, centres of Jake Averillo and Herbie Farnworth, so Hamiso is not playing today. You go to the 5'8", which is Cody Nikarima, and the halfback is Sai Katoa, who is the captain. Front row forwards are Francis Molo and Tommy Gilbert. Number 9, Bradley Schneider. Marshall King, Cornelio Ilemielu, and Oren Keeley in the back row, with Morgan Knowles as the 13. Then the interchange: Tavita Nafahu, Thomas Flegler, Kulikefu Finifiuyaki, and John Finian. I'm doing my best, guys. Finian Ganofo. is the roundup of the interchange. Then the reserves, Sebastian Sewer, who I picked as a big up-and-comer this year for the Redcliffe Dolphins. I actually called him my breakout from the Dolphins this year. Elijah Rasmussen, Brian Punu, Zach Garton, Brent Wolf, Adequix, Jeremiah Watts, Luke, Sangster Fengota, Noah Fien, and Elijah Mackay. So obviously noticing there's no Marshall King, there's no Hamiso. Overall, this is a pretty strong lineup, and what you would expect for the most part from them. This is kind of what you're going to get. Obviously, very disappointing last week, but yeah, surely they do pick it up a little bit. Last season, at the beginning part, they actually lost, I believe, their first 4 games in a row of the regular season before they came up against the Titans team, who ended up coming second last year. But they can win it this year. But they came second last year, and they played them, and obviously played themselves into some form, and won an amazing amount of games. But there was just this little lingering feeling like they were really high, but they were also really low. And then it became not just a lingering feeling, it became very evident that this team was so inconsistent, and especially on the defensive side, which is why I'm still so confused that I see so many people tipping this team to be in the top 4. What have you seen to see their defense improve from the absolute disaster that it was in 2025 to now being a top 4 team in 2026? Their attack is exciting, and maybe people are just biting into their attack because they did last year score 721 points in the season, which is the most amount of points in the season. They scored the most amount of points in the season and finished in 9th. So what should that tell you? What that should tell you is their defense just wasn't good enough. Now, if you had told me that you believe their attack is going to be better this year, I think that's, for mine, a lot easier to sort out than your defensive structures, which is why we see so many teams down the bottom struggle for so long with their defense. The Dolphins, obviously, their defense wasn't good enough with 596 points given up, which is worse than Manly, who finished below them. It's worse than, obviously, all the teams above them. Worse than Manly, worse than what the Eels had last year. And so they were situated themselves down in 11th for defense, which was only better than the Cowboys, the Tigers, the Rabbitohs, the Dragons, the Titans, and the Knights. And if you had a worse defense than the Titans and Knights, you'd give up. Actually, the Titans had the worst defense last year, but did end up coming second last, only because their attack was much better than the Knights. But look, the Dolphins' defense needs to improve greatly if they want to be anywhere close to the top 4. And truly, I find it difficult to even put them in the top 8 right now until I see their defense changes, until I see the work put in to not giving up so many points. If you go back to the last part of last season, in the crunch rounds when they were fighting for the top 8, they were well and truly in the hunt, they just completely fell apart. Okay, it's not the preseason challenge last year. I want the actual regular season. And now we go Dolphins. So we go here, and their last games, ignore the 62-24, which is a prime example of what the Dolphins do, by the way. Give up a lot of points, but score a lot of points. Ignore that, because that was Raiders. They rested their entire team in round 27. So 62-24 doesn't really mean jack shit to me, really. But the Dolphins and Titans game, Titans were last at the time, and they gave up 30 points to them, and they won 36-30. Scores a lot of points, gives up a lot of points. When they played Manly, scored a lot of points, got 30 points, conceded 58. They lost 58-30. Against the Broncos, scored 28 points. Lost 38-28. Only scored 12 points against the Roosters. Attack wasn't on that day. Gave up 64 points. They were able to beat the Warriors, who they're obviously playing today, 20-18, but that also came in the very last seconds of that game, which I feel really hurt the back-end Warriors. Even though they were already showing signs, that really hurt them, that game, because they were so close, and they arguably deserved the game, but just couldn't get the job done in the end. And then you go to the Cowboys game, round 20. Scored 43 points, conceded 24. As long as you're winning, great, but you're not going to be doing any damage in the finals, and you're not going to be too high up on the table if you're giving up literally a minimum of 18 points across your last 6 rounds, even against the Sharks, 24-12 loss. When they beat the Rabbitohs, 50 points they scored, 28 points against. When they lost to the Knights, 26 points against, 20 points to the Dolphins. They had those couple big games where they beat the Cowboys 58-4, they beat the Dragons 56-6, and they beat the Bulldogs 44-8. But that's a long time between drinks. That was back in round 15, 14, and 12 last year with a bye in between. And outside of that, just wasn't pretty. So that's why I'm super hesitant on this team. And I don't think the preseason is going to tell me anything about it. That's why, last week doesn't really factor for mine. Obviously, we'll joke and we'll banter, and I'll say the Titans are going to win the comp. Obviously, I don't actually believe that. I have high hopes, but I don't actually believe that, right? Preseason doesn't mean anything in a lot of ways. But also, we saw the exact same aspects that weren't improved. So in the first preseason game where they played a very strong roster comparably to the Titans, they gave up a decent amount of points. They gave up a decent amount of points and lost to a team that was well and truly lesser experienced than them. They still conceded 24 points. So where's the defensive structure that you've seen improve to put them into the top 4/top 8 kind of deal? That's my biggest question for them. And the Warriors, I don't even know how to read their team this year. Now on Monday, guys, this Monday coming at 5 p.m. New South Wales time, I think 7 p.m. New Zealand time, 4 p.m. Queensland time, I'll drop my whole preseason predictions, my 1 through 17, of where I believe all the teams will finish. I'm excited to put that out because obviously it's just an educated guess at the end of the day. We all think that we know how the season's going to play out, and then as we saw last year, it played out absolutely gigantically against what we all predicted, right? So I'm looking forward to putting it out, but I don't even know where to put the Warriors this year, man. They are so up and down. They've got some good players, but they also struggle where the Dolphins do profit, and that is in their attack, whilst the Warriors, if they could just merge these two teams and have a Dolphins-Warriors breed, but I tell you what, it'd be a good team. Warriors defense, Dolphins attack, they would win the comp. They would 100% win the comp. That would be a comp-winning team for sure. But obviously that's not to be. So, look, in today's game, I'm probably going to predict... This is a doubleheader at Leichhardt Oval, right? Because the Tigers-Panthers game is later. It's not a home game. Again, it's just pre-season. I'm going to say that I feel like the Dolphins should get this. The Dolphins should get this based on the fact there's still no Luke Metcalf. There's no Tamati Martin. I love my boy Tanner Boy. He doesn't miss, but... Overall, I do fancy the attack here today, but they just didn't give me a great deal of confidence. And look, the Dolphins' attack is so good, whilst the Warriors' defense is also pretty damn well good. Fell off the back end of a cliff last year. However, it does tend to be really, really good for the most part, whilst the Warriors' attack is not spectacular. They were situated in, when they were in the top 4 last year, they were situated in 11th for attack, even when Luke Metcalf was there. But the Dolphins' attack is obviously electric. So, look, I do feel like the Dolphins get it, but, who cares? It's a preseason game. Just look at defensive structures. Just look how individual players are being utilised, and just, keep an eye on how the team is rolling overall, right? Just keep an eye on that. But anyway, we're going to get into the game here. So, guys, obviously hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Let me know your thoughts in regards to today's game. I've got some score predictions and what you're hoping for your team in 2026, as we are literally just 1 week away, baby. Woohoo! Just 1 week away. Ben getting around it. Shauno, hello. Ben says, oh yes, I'm excited for an error-prone match with the Cowboys versus Knights. Woohoo! Yeah, fantastic stuff next week. Wow, that's exciting. That is really exciting. Cowboys versus Knights. I've never had more excitement in my life, to be fair. Good evening, Shatish. Dasmo says, sorry, did you say... No, I didn't. I won't let 6-7 distract me from the fact that Kyle Flanagan was the last NRL halfback to win a World Club Challenge. That's actually an insane stat. It is. That is actually an insane stat. Who did the... I'm obviously expecting this to be the Roosters, and I'm expecting this to be the Roosters, 2020? It would have been 2020 because 2019 was when they last won, and 2019 Cooper Cronk would have been there, so I'm expecting that this was in 2020. Who was that against, a Leeds or something? Origin 1, he got injured, right? Yes. Full-time stories is up the wires. You're talking about Mitchell Barnett. Bretton says, hey, mate, how was the game this morning? Yeah, no, it was good, man. I was up at 1:30 a.m. for the start of my stream. That game started at 2, and it was a cracker. The Hull boys went out to a 30-4 lead with 20 minutes to go, and you obviously seen the score. It was 30-24. It was exactly what the Broncos always do, but they missed their kicks. Adam Reynolds just missed 3 kicks, and that's what ultimately lost them the game. Broncos fans complaining with the referee. It really is just cope overall. They weren't good enough for 60 minutes, and then they were exceptional for the last 20, which is exactly how they play in week-to-week football here in the NRL. So, unfortunately, they just didn't handle the conditions well enough for the most part, and they were just underdone. It was their first game of rugby league for 2026, whilst I think that was the 3rd or 4th game for Hull with their preseason, and then also the game against York, which they actually ultimately lost. But then obviously next week they travel across to Vegas, which is a big one for them. But yeah, no, it was a great game. It was a great game that went down to the wire, and unfortunately the Broncos just came up a little bit too short. Liam Moore was the man of the match. No, I'm not buying into it, man. I'm not buying into it. Liam Moore, I will criticise when necessary, and sure, there was a couple of maybe not so great calls, but overall, the Broncos just weren't the better team on the day, and people have just got to understand that and stop just blaming the referees every single time. I used to do this with the Titans. I used to always say, "Oh, the referee jibbed us" and all this type of shit. But I came to the realization that one, it doesn't do anything, but also two, most of the time you are just seeing it from a biased lens. Whether you're a fan of the actual team itself or you just want a certain result, you'll see it from a biased lens. And today, the biggest call that I probably think I think that he missed was that 20-40. I originally thought that the ball did touch the grass for that second try, but I haven't been able to see a replay of it to see if that is the truth or not. But live at the time, I didn't disagree with the call. So no, I feel like people are just trying to get around the fact that they lost that game, and there's a lot of Broncos fans out there to put their opinion out there. Logan says this is just a warm-up game for the belter of a game later on. It should be a cracker, Tigers versus Panthers. It actually should be a good game because the Tigers are playing full strength and Panthers are bringing back Nathan Cleary. They've got, I think Dylan Edwards is playing. They've got most of their guys coming back in. Let me just go make sure here. But here comes Harrison. The Panthers got Dylan Edwards, Isaac Tungo, Polidamoti, Brian To'o. They got Jenkins there on the wing. Blaze Salungi, Nathan Cleary, Leota, Mitch Kenny, Lindsay Smith, Isaiah Papali'i, Kalani Going, and Isaiah Yo. So they got a pretty strong NRL team, and the Tigers, obviously, they're playing as strong as they can. They're actually playing a quite literal full-strength team. Just minus Terrell May, actually. Yeah, just minus Terrell May. By the way, so happy for my guy, Paddy Herbert, eh? I'm so happy for him. Whilst he had that moment, he was actually one of our better centres in the last 10 years at the Titans, but he just really had that moment and couldn't come back from it. So I'm so happy that he's at the Tigers, and hopefully he has a belter of the rest of his career. Full-time stories says, tell that to a Broncos fan. Well, I just did if they're watching. But I feel like most Broncos fans who watch the game week to week, who are truly passionate about the game and understand the game, will understand what I'm saying here. Because it's so easy to blame the referee, but realistically, they just weren't up to it for 60 minutes and then did what they do best for the last 20, but it was just too late and then missed their kicks. It wasn't even necessarily too late. That's the key thing. The Broncos actually didn't leave it too late. It was just they missed their kicks. They missed 3 kicks. They lost by 6. So they didn't actually leave it too late. We could have had a belter of an extra time game there at Hull at, I think it's MKM Stadium. But obviously not to be because they missed their kicks. Warriors is Bullavanaka, Bulla brother. Nate says, g'day big fella, was the W. Dalmatinis, Lesniak and Herbie tries. Yeah, I don't mind it. I think that the Dolphins should get this today just because they've got that harvest pairing of Isai Katoa and Nicarima compared to Luke Hansen and Tanner Boyd for the Wars, but this is what the Wars will go with in their halves for the first part of the season due to the still remaining injury on Luke Metcalf and now the injury to Tamati Martin. Also, Warriors fans, can you clarify for me when Tamati Martin is meant to be back, please? GB says, you ever going to stream any American sporting leagues again? I will, mate. I will, but it's just not the right time for me as we currently speak. I'm currently traveling the world, and the American time zone is really difficult for me here in Asia as we speak. I'm in Vietnam, and I'm streaming so much as it is at the moment with rugby league and cricket. But definitely one day, mate, I will be back on the wagon, get on the Chicago Bulls, and hopefully I'll be in Chicago. I can do some Blackhawks, and I can do some I'm so sorry for the microphone cutting, and I was replying to Mr. GB about American sports. Anyway, what I was trying to say there was that I don't know how much he missed overall. I really don't know how much he missed, but what I was trying to say is one day I'll definitely get to my Chicago Cubbies and Bulls and Blackhawks and hopefully be in Chicago and whatnot and create as much content as I possibly can. But right now, being in Asia, it's just impossible. I was up at 1 a.m. this morning. I've streamed one game already and I've got 3 games to go here still. It's 2 p.m. today. I won't finish until midnight. So I will be up for a grand old total of about 23, 24 hours. And I would have streamed 4 times in that. And you know how many times I've streamed so far. You know how many times I've streamed so far this year already, man. So, yeah, no, it's pretty full on for me, but I love my American sports and we'll definitely get into it at some point, not right this very second. Harrison says, when the Raiders play Superstar, the Raiders, they play and lose against the Sharkies tomorrow, mate, at Polytech Stadium in Gosford in a doubleheader with the Roosters versus the Eels. Surely you should know. You're a very passionate Raiders fan, no, Harrison? But you're asking me when you play. Wow, that's very interesting, isn't it? That's very interesting. It's always a try in Wigan, Nath. It is. It's always a try in Wigan, and Broncos fans will now claim that it's always a try in Hull as well. Harrison says, my mum's working in Amsterdam this week. Joke's on you, Nath. Oh, no. Nath said, Harrison, tell your mum will be home late tonight. You better be in bed by 10. Yeah, exactly right. Sam said, worst live streamer. Yeah, you're here every week. You were here last week and you're here today. So that means that you're subscribed and that means that you're in the comment section because you can't be in that comment section unless you've subscribed. So it must be pretty good if you're still coming back every week, mate. But thanks for tuning in. We'll probably see you on the next stream too for the Tigers Panthers so that you can tell me I'm the worst live streamer ever again. But thank you very much for the compliment. Nate says, Shauna, cheers, mate. What, Shauna? Oh, yeah. Warriors, I think Tamati Martin will retire at the end of the season. Yeah, but when is he meant to be back, though? When is Tamati Martin meant to be back? Because I know Luke Metcalf is round 7, but I don't know how long. I'll Google it, actually. When is Tamati Martin meant to return from injury? We've got 3 minutes to go until the game starts. Martin will have surgery on his leg with a return to play date set at round 11 or 12. He fractured the fibula in his left leg. Oh, no, that's 2023 season. What? Warriors, oh, no, it is out for 12 weeks with broken leg, but they're also just telling us about an injury that he sustained against the Knights early in the 2023 season. Martin played 17 games for the Warriors last season. Why are you telling us about the 2023 season? But apparently, Warriors halfback out for 12 weeks. This was 3 days ago, so 12 weeks with broken leg. Yikes, man. God bless him. God bless him. That sucks to see. You always want to see the best players out in the field, regardless of what team you support. You always want to see the best players out in the field, so that does suck for Tamati Martin and for the Warriors, especially with the fact that they're already missing the big man. A big man, Luke Metcalf. So I'm assuming that would mean then that it'll be Luke Metcalf and Tanner Boyd. But how will the 5'8" and the halfback go there? Because Tanner Boyd's a halfback and Luke Metcalf is, I think, personally more of a 6 and a halfback. Maybe they do go Tan in the 7 and then Luke in the 6, or I don't know if they go Tan 6 and then Luke Metcalf 7. Let me know what your thoughts are, Warriors fans. Lee is awesome with the $5 redo donation all the way from the US of A, man. Says, what is your thoughts on the game? Dolphins minus 5.5, over under 48.5. What is your thoughts on the game? Dolphins minus. Well, yeah, you've asked me twice there, man. Appreciate you for the dono. Always appreciate the support that you do show there, but. Firstly, this is pre-season, brother. This is pre-season, so please don't be betting the life support on it. Please don't be betting your house on anything in the pre-season because everything can go AWY. Everything can, go down shit creek, right, without a paddle. So I will say hesitantly here, please don't bet huge. Not my fault if you lose, but what I would go with there, if I was to make a prediction, would be. I would say plus 5.5 for the Wars, to be honest with you. I feel like the Dolphins win. Oh, yeah, that's a tough one. I'd probably say that if the Dolphins are going to win this, surely it's going to be close, right? Because the defense is good. And then you also get the benefit of maybe the Warriors sneaking a win there as well. I'd I guess if you think the Dolphins win, it'd be over 48.5. If you think the Warriors win, it should be under 48.5 because the Warriors don't have the attack. So if you're fancying more of the Warriors, you'd be looking at the under. If you're fancying more of the Dolphins, you're probably looking at the over. And I'm fancying the Dolphins, but I just think the Warriors have enough in it to keep them close here. Both teams are relatively full strength and pretty much full strength minus, a couple of diddle-diddles. So look, I'm actually going to go Warriors. Warriors plus 5.5, and I'll go the under. But again, that could be completely wrong. This is preseason, and you will only see first-string teams for the first half, and then you will see it completely change in the second half. So just don't bet the house on it, right? Scotty James, but thank you very much for the dono. Scotty James, the $5 Redo donation, says, hi BKR, missed the Broncos game. Is there any concerns you saw from the Broncos? Do you see them making the top 8? Enjoy your travel videos. Yes, mate, they make the top 8. I don't think there is any concerns with the Broncos this year. I think that was their first game of rugby league. It took them 60 minutes to wake up, and then they did exactly what they did last year. So overall, the Broncos, they should be absolutely still firing. It may take them a little bit to click overall, but no, I didn't see any serious negatives. I actually liked that they started with Corey Pakes and then brought on Benny Hunt. Game's about to start here, guys. But I liked overall what they should be looking like coming into this year. So no, I don't think that game really impacts my thoughts too much on the Broncos. In the first 60, if they hadn't come back, I would have been like, this is looking pretty disastrous. But they showed the exact same thing they did last year, but just weren't able to get over the line because they missed their kicks, right? But anyway, guys, the game will start off here, so hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. The Dolphins will get off to Molo for the first run. He'll bring it out to the 20. Let me just refresh this score so that you can have the live score on your screen. Now, neither one of these teams can win the preseason, guys, because they lost their first week, and we've already seen the Cowboys on 27. They won their 2 games. Cowboys are not locked up whatsoever in regards to winning the preseason, but there's a couple of tough games. The teams that did win, like Titans, obviously they've got to play the Storm, the Tigers, they've got to play the Panthers, the Raiders, we'll have to play the Sharkies, the Eels have to play the Roosters, the Bulldogs have already played, so don't worry about them. The Dragons, they have already played their 2 games, yeah, and Manly do get another game as well, but they would need to have the full bonus points with a win over, who plays? Who's Manly playing? The Rabbitohs on Sunday, which will be interesting. Warriors will drop this ball on the first kick to them, and it's going to be a drop out here. Oh boy, not a good start here. Not a good start whatsoever. He's dropped that ball, it's gone back, and he's had to go back into the in goal. That is the number 5 here, which is, what is it, Hazen Mellors? Was that the one that I was looking at? Yeah, Hazen Mellors playing with the Warriors today on the wing instead of Alofiana Khan-Pereira. He's just made a pretty bad start of this game. But let's see a short drop out here, and that's exactly what will come. And Warriors will knock it back, and Warriors will get the ball here. No way, Warriors. Oh, they're going to just get it. That was awful, but they actually worked out a way to still get the ball despite an absolute mess up within their own 10. Now the Warriors will be on second tackle at the 10-metre line. Warriors says, Tamani Martin expected back around 10-11. So yeah, about 4 weeks after when Luke Metcalf's meant to be back. I'm really interested to see what they do regarding the 6 and 7 though. When Tanner is there, Luke Metcalf comes around 7. Tanner and Luke both usually play in that 7 role. Third tackle for the Warriors at the 30. I would fancy Metcalf 6 and Tan 7, but we'll see. And then what do they do when Tamani Martin comes back as well? Aesthetic Angle says, BKR, can you give me a little rundown on your opinion of Sam Healey? I think he's an underrated monster. I love Sam Healey. I think he should be a starting 9. Fit tackler here at the 50. Oh, no, 6 again for the Warriors. Huge. 6 again for the Warriors. And now they're going to be 40 metres away here from the line through Jackson Ford. Hard unit, the old Jackson Ford. Doesn't mind a random try or 2 at times as well. Tanner Stowers Smith now. He'll be on first tackle at the 38. That was 0 tackle. Now this is first. Wade Egan goes out to the left off to Hansen. Oh no, that was not good from Adam Pompey. And this is a smoke on this left-hand side right now for the Warriors. First the mistake from Mellors and then the mistake from Adam Pompey that lost the metres again as he was trying to flick the ball over the top to Hazen Mellors. Third tackle at the 32. Metal says, look at that stadium, man, so sexy. No, this is Leichhardt, mate. This isn't Seabus Super Stadium. I understand that you're a bit confused as a Tigers fan, but no, this isn't at the 7th one of the world, Seabus Super Stadium. 4 tackle at the 20. It's Jackson Ford who'll tell him to go back on his mark. He's gained like 3 metres there. And he'll roll this ball back to Wade Egan, then off to Tanner Boyd. And Aaron Clark is just absolutely bumped off a Dolphin. I don't know who it was because he's off the screen. That's how much he's been bumped by the big man he is. Oh, he's a dangerous man. Tanner Boyd at the 15, kicks his ball through. Chance here. Great kick. Drop out. Fantastic kick from big Tanner Boyd. Fantastic kick. Luke Metcalf looked like he was about to dominate the competition before he got injured. But after around 5 or 10... no, never mind first 5. But dominate the competition's ballsy. Whilst Metcalf was there, he was playing individually great, but still overall as a halfback, the attack was struggling through the first however many rounds when he was playing. Their attack was still down in that 10-11 range, whilst their defence was top 4. So overall, obviously, he definitely helped their team, and he was potentially going to win the Dally M. That's how good he was playing. With that being said, it didn't necessarily translate into more points for the Warriors as well. So the Warriors here are at the 50. On first tackle, Wade Egan gives it off to Tanner Stowers-Smith, who will be 35 metres away from the line, second tackle. Mitchell says, Leichhardt wishes it was as good as Seabus. Yeah, exactly right, Mitchell. No, I agree with you there. So Tanner Boyd passes it off. They're 28 metres away from the line, third tackle of the Warriors. Decent start after their early schmozzle. Tanner Boyd, short ball into the line again. Tanner Stowers-Smith, he is getting a lot of ball early here, 15 metres away on third tackle. No, 4 tackle. Wade Egan, Aaron Clark, 4 metres away, fifth tackle. Wade Egan's going to go short into the line. Jackson Ford! Try time for the Warriors, baby. Warriors. Sam says, I hate you, bro. Yeah, you're still here, bud, aren't you? You're still here, bud. And the Warriors are here as well. It's 4-0 with a kick to come. I couldn't think of a worse place to go, Dasmate says. Yeah, no, it's... Unfortunately, Belmore's not exactly the greatest of places to go, Daz, but you're a Dogs fan. You should love it, mate. You should love it. Lager says, Seabus this, Leichhardt that. All I'm thinking about is Robina Raptors Stadium. Robina Raptors Stadium's not too bad. It's right next to Seabus, actually, Logan. It's right next to it. Maybe even think about the old Tweedo Seagull Stadium, to be fair, if you want to compare. But Jackson Ford will score. And it is 4-0 here with a kick to come. Great start. Well, right now, you'd be happy with that Wires 5.5 because it's a good start. Dadsmate says, Jackson Ford, 97 games, 12 tries. Like I said, he can get a sneaky try here or there. By the way, Paddy Carrigan scored this morning. He never scores in the NRL. Like, he never does, ever. But yet he scored this morning. Crazy scenes. Tanner Boyd, guess what? Brenton, tell me what I'm thinking here. Tell me what I'm thinking with Tanner Boyd. Chat can do in general. What am I going to say here about Tanner Boyd? Because it is 6-0. It's 6-0 right now. And that means that Tanner Boyd, he does not miss. It's not possible. It's not possible. Oh my gosh, it's not possible. 6-0 to the Wars. Bretton says, standing iconic stadium for standing ovations. Oh, was it at Leichhardt, was it? I didn't know if it was at Campbelltown or Leichhardt. Was your Knights-Tigers game in the first round last year actually at Leichhardt? For some reason, my brain had it as Campbelltown. Just had a miss last week. Don't know, Lagan. No, definitely didn't watch last week, mate, so you'll have to do the research yourself, but I'm sure we did watch it, actually. And no, I'm remembering right now he forfeited a couple of kicks just to make it easier for Manly, and unfortunately, they were too nice, the Warriors, and Tanner Boyd was too nice, forfeiting the kick, and Manly did end up winning. They just took him a little bit for granted there. So this week, you're not going to see Tanner Boyd miss any kicks. You wouldn't see him forfeit any kicks, mate. No chance. It was at Campbelltown. So, Mitchell, what you're telling me is I know more than Brenton. Thank you for confirming. So, Tigers now will not be playing. It's the Warriors. Too much Tigers chat in Buddy Danmore chat. Third tackle for the Warriors. Aaron Clark at the back to Tanner Boyd. And that's a good run. What's his name again? The number 12 here for the Warriors. Jacob Laban, that's right. Oh, good offload. Will hit the grass, though. And Charles Newell-Clockstad will follow it up, and he'll bring this ball to the 40. Look, he's still pumping his legs. Great offload from Chance. Unbelievable offload. And, high tackle. No, fit tackle now at 35. 35. Logan says, Stephen Crichton does not miss. Would you like me to debate that, sir? Would you like me to debate that? This could be a penalty, Warriors. No, that's going to be an offside against the Warriors, and they'll receive a penalty against them. I thought there was going to be a late hit on the kicker there. It said no, and then that was an embarrassing play at the 25, so Dolphins will receive a penalty. Full-time story says, will Sam Walker ever play Origin? Fantastic question. Should he? Yeah, but he's behind a couple of guys right now. He's behind guys like Munster and obviously Dearden. And then you've got Ezra Mam, who's there or thereabouts as well, even though I think that Sam Walker is definitely the 7 over a guy like Ezra Mam. That conversation's gone now. So, look, Sam Walker should, but unfortunately he's just in a time where he's finding it very difficult to make it through. And obviously he's had his injuries recently as well, but, you're putting him in anyway. I don't think so. Third tackle here for the Dolphins at the 30. They're really set with, fantastic offload from Herbie Farnworth. I'm really going to try and lock. Trey Fuller's away here. Trey Fuller's away at the 20. Oh, no. He's flicked the ball to the grass. And Luke Hansen will pick this ball up at the 25. He's lost the ball. Oh, now the Dolphins have the ball back. It's 0 tackle. Oh, Hansen, you've had a shocker there. You've had a shocker there at the 20 on 0 tackle. 10 minutes gone here, guys, in the first half. 10 minutes gone. 30 minutes to go. Hit that like button and subscribe if you are new around here. Patrick says, I actually rate Sam Healy above Wade Egan, to be honest. He's so impressive. This is what I said, Patrick. I agree with you. Dolphins here, left-hand side. Chance. For track time for the Dolphins. Selwyn Cobbo, I believe, gets his first try in Dolphins colours. Gets his first try at 6-4 to the Warriors with a kick to come from the sideline. Nicely worked play down there by the Dolphins. But again, I'm not watching Dolphins preseason games for their attack. I'm looking for their defence. They've given up 6 points already. Let's see them keep the score under 20. I will have a different opinion about the Dolphins if they can keep the Warriors under 10, let alone 20. But I don't think that's going to happen. The attack we know is there. The defence we know is not there. So prove us wrong. Is what I say here. But no, I agree, Patrick. That's what I've been saying for a while now. I prefer Sam Healy over Wade Egan. I'm not trying to disrespect Wade Egan there. I really fancy Sam Healy in comparison. Same thing goes with the Dragons. I think that Jacob Little should be over the top of Damien Cook. I don't think Damien Cook is the same player that he once was, and I feel like they're just really trying to desperately get that same Damien Cook from years ago when he was one of, if not the best hooker in the game. Obviously Cameron Smith above him, but Damien Cook was definitely top 2 at one stage, and once Cameron Smith retired, you probably would have had him as the number 1. But I don't think he's that anymore. So Jacob Little is in a kind of similar situation to what I believe with Sam Healy. But again, I do actually have Wade Egan above where I have Damien Cook currently speaking. Warriors says NRL and Super League should merge similar to NFL divisions. This is making my brain bleed just reading this coming out. AFC and NFC and play World Club Challenge at the end like a Super Bowl. Warriors, I've got to be completely honest with you, man. That might be the worst idea I've ever heard in my life. And I've heard some pretty bad ideas and opinions on here. Appreciate you for your comment, but please don't ever make a comment like that ever again. Please. That will never happen. That should never happen. If you want divisions, well, you can put it in the NRL, but no, that's not going to be. It's not going to be the case. Defense and attack are both overrated. Yeah, it sounds like a Tigers fan to me, Mitchell. No, that does make sense. That does. Tanner Boyd is the only one that doesn't miss. Sam Walker does. Now, Sam Walker definitely does. He definitely does. The thing is, Warriors, it's like, it's not that it's a horrible, idyllic world take, right? But you would need it to be, to knock on from the Dolphins off of the kickoff, and Hayes and Mellors will pick it up on 0 tackle. They're 15 metres away. That is horrible from the Dolphins. And let's see their defence. That's going to be a penalty here to the Warriors as well. Now let's see your defence. This is what I'm looking for, Dolphins. Let's see your defence. That's brilliant, because what we want to check out is the defense. In an ideal world, sure, that would be unreal, but we're not in an ideal world. We live literally the opposite sides of the globe to each other, and it's an absolute hoorah just to get the World Club Challenge sorted. So that won't be happening. Jasmine says, go the Tigers. Well, we'll be live later on as the Tigers take on the Panthers. Aaron Clark, he'll bring this ball to the about 10 metres out, gets the offload away, Tanner Stowers-Smith. And he'll be 5 metres away from the line, second tackle. Naces take the 2. That's very Dragons of you. Absolutely makes sense. Jacob Laban, 2 metres away from the line, third tackle. Let's see this defense, Dolphins. Wade Egan out the back. Oh, well, Dolphins. They're going to hold him over the line. They're actually going to hold him up over the line here. That defense looks awful, but they will hold him up over the line. So it's going to go back to the 10. There was a massive hole in the middle just then. Like I said, he made a statement so trash, even his gang clowning him. Well, like, it's an idea. It's never, ever, ever going to happen. But, like, it's an idea where you can think about it and you can have fun thinking about what that would look like. But that's as far as that's ever going to go. Tanner Boyd had to reach behind to grab that ball at the 10, so we can't get anything going there. Fit tackle here, 14 metres out. Wade Egan to Aaron Clark. Aaron Clark to Luke Hansen. Hansen's going to put that ball up in the air. Good kick in a good area. But Selwyn Cubbo picks that ball up, and that will be at the 5 on first tackle. It's 50-50 on that defense. There were some good moments, but also I'm glad they held him up over the line, but the hole for him to get through to the line was pretty disappointing from Redcliffe. Full-time story says, purely on financial standing, Super League clubs don't have half the resources NRL clubs do. Yeah, but the NRL's trying to buy him, and they probably will get it. So that's a penalty to the Dolphins of the 15 for, I think, offside. I think so. Oh, no, it's a bad tackle. No, it's a bad tackle. That's what the penalty is for. Dangerous tackle. Well, Daz, mate, you don't have to call the guy an idiot. He said, hey, the AFC and NFC teams still play each other in the season and they're in the same country. Yeah, but Daz, you don't need to call the guy an idiot. Did you see how I replied? I replied without insulting the actual guy. I just said, don't ever make a statement like that ever again. But there's a bin here. Jackson Ford goes to the bin for the Warriors. Jackson Ford is in the bin for the Warriors, 13 minutes in. Big yikes. Wow, that is a big yikes. Just a couple of minutes in. Well, 13 minutes in, and we're already seeing a sin bin there. Oh boy, he's in the tuk-tuk. Off he goes. Dasmo says, yeah, but he brought up NFL, and I'm still salty the Patriots got Bell to us in the Super Bowl. Yeah, but the Detroit Lions are the greatest team of all time. Second tackle now for the Dolphins at the 45. What's the bin for? Dangerous tackle. For a dangerous tackle was what the bin was for. First tackle, now second. They're 15, 35 metres out. And Keeley will get the offload away to Trey Fuller. Good offloads from the Dolphins at the moment. It's Katoa gets it over the top. And hit a chance. Taken down 14 metres away from the line. And then he has gone and lost the ball. He's gone and lost the ball here, Jermaine Asako. So the Warriors are going to get this ball here at the 15. Isaiah Katoa wants to challenge this. If the referee's called... Hold on. The referee's called held and then he's just lost the ball. Oh, I get what Vossi's saying, but I don't think this is like a certain couple of situations that we saw in the NRL last year. Comes in, he's looking to try and take him over the sideline. He's trying to throw that ball back in, but he's called held. I get why Vossi's saying what he's saying, but I don't necessarily agree with it. But I'm not necessarily agreeing with it. At the end of the day, he did choose to release that ball. Has Matty Utai made a recovery? Poor bloke. I did hear about that. Not too sure overall about how that's all unfolded. That's a high tackle. Yep, there's a penalty to the Warriors coming out of their own line. Is that the old Gold Coast Chargers jersey? No, this is the Gold Coast Seagulls, mate. This is the old Seagulls jersey. Get around it. Get around it. What jersey I would really like, I don't know anybody that would have it. It would be the most niche jersey ever, is the Gold Coast Vikings. Was it the Vikings? No, yeah, because it was the Giants, the Chargers, the Seagulls, the Titans, and I think that there was also the Vikings. But I think they only played BRL or whatever. But if someone ever had one of those jerseys, I'd love that because they were very brief. Gold Coast Dolphins. Dad's mate loves a good timeout, doesn't he? So second tackle here for the Warriors. They are 33 metres. They were out. Now third tackle. Tanner Boyd gives it across there. Charles Klokstad. Adam Pompey. Leah Tower. And Charles Klokstad will be taken down to the 13. Up the Seagulls. Wally Lewis, captain coach. What a man. Wade Egan, short ball into the line. Jacob Laban will drop it. And Tom Gilbert will pick it up and he'll bring it out to the 15 for the Dolphins. So zero tackle now first for Selwyn Cobbo. Both attacks are really lacking so far, but again, this is preseason, and again, the Warriors are kind of known for it. Second tackle at 30. There was, though. Well, there wasn't, though, was there, Daz? They didn't actually come in because the Dolphins threatened to sue the Gold Coast for using their name because they believed they were going to be in the NRL one day and they wanted to keep their name. Oh, they're away here. Selwyn Cobbo down the wing at the 40, at the 35, and then he'll be taken down. Four tackle. Hold on. Sakatoa and Morgan Knowles. He'll be at the 33. Bit of English talent there in a jersey. Well, a jersey was made. I don't think there was like merchandise made though overall. Averillo kicks it through. Dolphins! Sarko's so close. Oh wow, they got within 1 metre. 1 metre of the line, but the Warriors have held him out there, and the Warriors will have to come out from their own 1 metre. And Hazen Mellors brings it out to the 5 on second tackle. And there was I guess, a jersey that came out, but I don't believe there was like a merchandise range for the Warriors by any means. Dallin Mackenzie Lesnack to the 15. Good old Chargers were a good emblem. Yeah, I'd like to get all the Gold Coast jerseys. Obviously, I have a Titans and I've got Seagulls, but I just need the Giants and the Chargers and then the Vikings, but that'll be so hard to find. Legally, they wouldn't have been allowed. No, that's why they didn't take it. That's why they obviously chose not to go with it. I do think that you should have gone with a different name other than Titans that represented the Gold Coast a lot more. But with that being said, Titans is a very globally recognised sporting name. Tennessee Titans, the movie Remember the Titans, the big one. A lot of American teams are actually have got the Titans in their name. In all the different sports, especially in college level and all that type of stuff. It's just a very popular name worldwide, so I can understand why they went with it. The Dolphins, Cody Nikarima, he'll get up to Morgan Knowles, and Knowles is going to run this ball to the 25, where they get up to Gilbert, then Gilbert offloads it, and they're away on the right-hand side here. Sakatoa to Jake Averillo. Averillo's got the speed, taking on the 15, 4 tackle. 4 tackle. Kirani Jackson. That's going to hit the grass, and that's going to slow down their attack. Francis Molo, he'll be 15 metres out. Fit tackle. Fit tackle. Out to Sakatoa. He's going to switch it all the way back to Nikarima. They go short side. Herbie Farmworth kicks it through. Played out there by the Warriors, and they will get a good defense from Tanner Boyd and the Waz. They hold him out again. Now Charles Klokstad. Oh, but then Watani Lesniak is just going to drop the ball coming out of his own 10. And the Dolphins on 0 tackle. They're going to just score, aren't they? 2 metres away now from the line. First tackle for the Dolphins. That is an awful mistake. We've seen a couple of those already coming off their lines. But the Dolphins are just going to easily score, man. Brad Schneider will just literally walk over the line. Now, there is a man in the bin for the Warriors. That was always going to be so easy once they were in that situation. They were done for numbers, and they just kept pumping that short side, and Brad Schneider walks over the line. Gladiators, yeah, not the Vikings, the Gladiators. That's the name, Daz. Thank you. The Gold Coast Gladiators. One day I want that Gold Coast Gladiators jersey. That's what I want. That's what I really, really want. But the Dolphins, they get the job done there. And they do score. Gold Coast Vikings were a team in the BRL, though. Yeah. Yeah, they were. Gladiators, I don't think, actually ever ended up playing an official New South Wales Rugby League game. So 20 minutes to go here, guys. 20 minutes to go the first half. Hit that like button and subscribe. Dolphins take the lead for the first time. And we'll be up 8-6. There's been some pretty poor mistakes in this game so far, though. Again, I understand it's Warriors versus Dolphins, but surely you get more people to turn up. Surely there's more people than this who should turn up, especially locals in the area. I'm sure tickets would have been super cheap. There'd be plenty of tickets available. I get it's preseason, but this is the thing. Like, people don't go to these games because they don't care for the preseason. They know the preseason doesn't really matter, but yet you have people, crying online thinking that the preseason is important. And if you lost, you're going to come last. If you won, you're going to win the comp kind of deal. We take the piss in regards to the Titans going on to win the comp from last week. If they go and beat the Storm, then there's no way they don't win the comp. They just win every game from here on out for the rest of eternity. But people don't turn up to these games because they know how much it doesn't mean anything, and then they claim how much it means something. Dolphins fans all went to England to watch the Broncos. That is true. Well, you're never going to fly for a preseason. It's not like you're going to get Dolphins fans flying down to Sydney for it. Same thing with Warriors. Obviously, these are two away teams. I just would have liked to have seen a bit of a better crowd from just locals in general in Sydney. Gladiators rebranded to Chargers? I don't know. Did they? Is that what happened? And Morgan Knowles, and he gets the offload away. Now it's Katoa with the ball at the 40. Off to Gilbert, and Tom Gilbert. He'll be 4 tackle at the 45. Still a minute 46 in the bin for Jackson Ford. They give it to Katoa. Katoa at the back to Nicarima. Was looking for the offload. He gets away from the tackle anyway. The 35, the 30, the 25 kicks it through. No one's there though, and it will go over the sideline. About 8 metres out. I'm actually going to Google that. Did the Gold Coast Gladiators rebrand to Gold Coast Chargers? Yes, the Gold Coast Gladiators rebranded to the Gold Coast Chargers. After the Gold Coast Seagulls collapsed, the team was briefly branded as the Gladiators in early 1996. Following a change in administration and licence revocation, the Australian Rugby League rebranded the team as the Gold Coast Chargers for the 96 season. Well, there you go. Now second tackle for the Warriors at the 24. And third tackle, Wade Egan gives it across. They only get into the 30 though now on 4 tackle. Have made a great deal of metres. They've been camped down their end for the most part of this game so far, however. Now fifth tackle. 38 metres away. Chance Newell-Klokstad getting up a little bit worse for wear. Grabbing at his nose here. Hopefully this isn't a broken nose or anything like that. God bless him. He rolls it back, but he was grabbing at his nose just then. And Tanner Boyd is going to whack this one down into the corner, where Dolphins pick it up through Selwyn Cubbo at the 15. This is a really make or break contract for Selwyn Cubbo. He's still super young, man. Like, what's he, 24 or something like that? He is 23 years old, 24 in June. This is a real make or break year for Cubbo, because he came in with such high expectations. He didn't live up to the high expectations. He's had, his bright spots, but he's also had some really poor moments as well. And now that he's here at the Dolphins, it's a bad drop there. That's a bad drop from Morgan Knowles, and the Warriors are going to get this ball here at the 40. If he doesn't perform, I just don't know where he goes from there, considering the up and down nature of what his career has been so far. That's a bad drop. That is a bad drop there from Knowles, who I've actually liked today. I've liked him and what he's been doing. But the Warriors will grab this ball at the 40. 16 minutes to go here in the first half. And they give it to Adam Pompey. And Pompey now will bring this ball to the 48 on first tackle. Quick thought, how are you going to fit Martin, Metcalf, Boyd and Chanel in the same team? I don't know if they will with Chanel, but it's interesting because, again, we spoke about this before. Metcalf will come back around 7-ish. You've got Tanner Boyd here, and then you've got Tamati Martin coming back in around 10, 11. I think it's really between those three overall. Out of the back, quick hands. Hazen Mellors at the 35, at the 30, at the 25. Good change of pace there. Then it gets slapped down at the 25 for 4 tackle now. Out the back to Tanner Boyd at the 30. I personally, Warriors are through. That is awful defence there from the Dolphins, and welcome back to Redcliffe. That's what we know from Redcliffe. That was really poor defence, and it is 10-10 with a kick to come, and the kick will come from right in front, and it's Wade Egan with a try time. Metcalf is guaranteed a spot for sure, but I would actually prefer to see him in the 6 and 10 and the 7. If that doesn't work out, then sure, you can go to Money Martin 6 and Metcalf 7. But it would be interesting to see that, because I do fancy Metcalf more as a 6 than a 7. But with that being said, he was leading the Dally M's at one stage last year from the 7. With that being said as well, to argue against that, Nico Hines won a Dally M 7, won a Dally M and also halfback of the year. And people don't agree that he's a halfback. Because then you've got to consider the fact that people want to see Healy in the team. They have too many spine players. They do have a lot of spine players. I prefer Sam Healy over Wade Egan, even though he's just got to try Wade Egan. Even though he's just got to try, I would really prefer to see Sam Healy as the 9. No, they've got a bit of a logjam in those positions. So 14 minutes left the first half, but guess what? Guess what's about to happen? You know what's about to happen. Tanner Boyd is never going to miss. He just doesn't do it. It's not possible. Tanner Boyd does not miss. He gets the conversion, and it is 12-10 the Warriors with 14 minutes to go here in the first half. Desmond says, a what? What do you mean as a what? How long is Selwyn's contract? No, it says Selwyn Cobbo. I'm assuming it'll be 2-3 years, maybe 3 years. Selwyn Cobbo contract Dolphins. Cobbo has signed. Oh, it's only a 1-year deal with the Dolphins for 2026, and if things pan out, he could well extend there. However, it is worth considering what the 23-year-old wrote on a blackboard when at school in Cherbourg when asked what he wanted to do when he grows up. What? What's this? Brisbane winger Selwyn Cobbo has left the door open to return to the club despite being on the move next year. Cobbo simply wrote, I want to be a professional rugby league player in the NRL and play for the Brisbane Broncos when he was a kid. It was salary cap issues that forced him out next season at Brisbane, but after starting on his recall against South Sydney in a 60-14 win, Cobbo was at his electric best. What a random article. They're referring to what he wrote on a blackboard when he was a child. But sure. I don't see where the Broncos would be fitting him in. Reece Walsh looks like their fullback for the next ever. Obviously, Cobbo's not in the halves, which is having somewhat of an opening, even though not really, because they've got Pezic coming through. The 2 through 5, they've got Dean Mariner. I guess, like, if you didn't fancy a Gutapani or a Dean Mariner, sure, but Mariner was unbelievable, and they both won a premiership last year. And the centres of Katoni Staggs and Gehamucha Basaki, I don't see that happening in the near-term future, even though Staggs was awful this morning for the Broncos. Staggs was really poor for the Broncos this morning. But yeah, bloody media, what a weird thing to bring up, Nath. Like, they're saying that he might go back to the Broncos because when he was a child, he wrote on a blackboard that he wanted to play for the Broncos when he grew up. It's like, well, he did play for the Broncos when he grew up, and then obviously he was moved on. Sure, if the door opened for him, he'd probably do it, but where's the door opening for him right now? The Dolphins are at the 45, and also by next year? Really? He's only got a 1-year contract. By next year, you reckon he goes back to the Broncos? He would have to have an absolute stellar season, and then he would ask for too much money, and the Broncos won't be able to fit it in despite the fact that Payne Haas is going. They're not spending that money on a centre/winger. No way. And Warriors will grab the ball at 10. And it's going to be first tackle. Where's the article? It was ESPN.com.au, so it's not shocking. Second tackle here for the Warriors at the 11. They're up by 2 points, 12 points to 10, and they will receive a penalty. Hazen Mellors receives the penalty to get themselves out of trouble. And they'll probably be able to kick this ball to around the 30/the 40. You're seeing teams aren't really kicking long anymore. They're not usually kicking too long because they just want to guarantee the ball goes over the sideline, and that will go to the 33. Good kick there from Tan. Webby's going to have to make a few hard phone calls. Norman says Dolphins jump over the Warrior. Well, Dolphins jumping over the Warrior, you're going to get the Warrior into the water. You know, and the Warrior I don't think is going to go for a swim in all his... He's not going to be going for a swim, mate, so I think It's just a case of the Warriors never going for a swim, and the Dolphin can't breathe. It can't come out of the water unless it's like that Simpsons episode where the Dolphins took over. 4 tackle now at 35. What do you mean? Any idea why Haas changed his name? We all know why Haas changed his name. Jackson Ford will be taken out at the 25. Same reason as Muhammad Ali. Fifth tackle. You know Muhammad Ali's original name was Cassius Clay, right? Dolphins get the ball at the 5, and it's going to be first tackle for Redcliffe at the 5 metres. Bretton says, haven't you seen Moana, Blaze? I've seen Moana about 1 million times. I have a daughter who was a toddler at the time. They came out, they're away here, Saikatoa. Saikatoa at the 35. Will get taken down at the 38. Good run, though, from a Saikatoa. Looked for the offload, just didn't really have the space for it. Now Avarillo, he will get an offload away to Wisako, and then he'll flick it all the way across. They've lost 6 metres now. And they end up losing about 7-8 metres. Yeah, that was not good from the Dolphins. 4th tackle at 35. Now Herbie Farnworth, he'll bring it to the 45 on 5th tackle. I've watched Moana more times than you can say the word Moana in your life. How about the lineup of movies in 2026? I have not seen the lineup of movies in 2026. All I know is that I'm looking forward to The Resurrection of the Christ by Mel Gibson. That's going to be awesome when that comes out. Is it this year or next year? I think it's next year that comes out. Around Easter. 2nd tackle. I think Good Friday there's like a part 1 of The Resurrection of the Christ, and then on Easter Sunday is when part 2 of The Resurrection of the Christ comes. Lukey says Katoa on Dragons would be unreal. Yeah, probably not, eh? So 4th tackle now at the 45. Probably not, eh? 4th tackle. And they'll be inside the attacking half. Chance Neil Cooks out. I've loved the fact that when he goes into the tackles, he just keeps pumping those legs. He got all the way to the 40. And Mel Gibbo always makes great flicks here. He knows how to make a movie, that's for sure. Tanner Boyd will put that one down to the 10. And Trey Fuller, he'll bring this one coming out of his own end. Gives it off. And they're away here, the Dolphins. They're away here, the Dolphins at the 30, the 35, the 40. Taken down. Who is this? Number 14 here for the Dolphins. Number 14 is Tavita Nafahu. And the Dolphins are then going to make a mistake after that brilliant run from Tavita Nafahu. The Dolphins are then going to make a mistake right after it. Second last ever Adventures coming out in December. Mate, I don't know if I'll be able to sleep until December now that you told me that. Don't know if I'll be able to sleep. Hey Blaze, up the wire, smash the like button, BKR team. Exactly right, Laurie. Exactly right. Smash the like button. Warriors are at the 40. That was an unreal run from Tavita Nafahu, but just unlucky the men after him. Drop the ball. Wade Egan to Tanner Boyd. And now they'll be 40 metres away here from the line. Number 17 just reminded me so much of Stefano Utukamanu. Eddie Jeremiah Tawava. I don't know why. He just looked so much like him on that run just then. So 2nd tackle. And Jackson Ford. Obviously coming back from that sin bin. 22 metres out. 3rd tackle. Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd short ball into the line. And Kurt Catewell is going to be 5 metres out on 4th tackle. 4th tackle. Wade Egan. Here's a chance to the Waz. Show us that defense, Dolphins. Show us the defense. 5th tackle. Tanner Boyd kicks it through. And it will be I think maybe a try here. Oh my gosh, this actually may be a try here. This is a try for the Warriors. And how are you telling me this Dolphins team has improved their defense? What are you basing your opinion on that the Dolphins are a top 4 team by saying their defense has improved? The first 2 games here against the Titans and the Warriors, they gave up 24 points to an understrength Titans team last week. And in this game, they've already given up, which is about to be 18 points in the space of 33 minutes. Has he got this? He's not putting that ball down. No, you cannot say that he's put that ball down there, Trey Fuller. Yeah, it's definitely a try. That's definitely a try. You cannot tell me that he's grounding that ball. No way. He's trying to get the ball. I don't know what Trey Fuller was really doing there, but does he put it in bounds? Yeah. Yeah, he puts that down. He gets the ball down. Hold on. What about his hand, though? They're going to check this. Maybe his hand goes out. Maybe his left hand actually goes out before he puts the ball down. There's no way you can claim to me that Trey Fuller is going to put that ball down. But now we're just having to look at the hand of Jacob Laban. His left hand is out. Yep. Well, it's also a knock on, actually. Yeah, there is a gap there. So either way, his hand's out or he knocks on. Either way, it won't be happening. So 7-tackle set coming up for the Dolphins, coming out of their own 20. But yet again, their defense is concerning. The defense is very, very concerning. Sign it's a good year for the Dolphins for our Matama Tonga later this year. Yeah, I didn't see a great deal for him for Tonga during that Pacific Cup. So he does need a big year. He had an awesome year for the Dolphins last year, but he does need another big year to get ready for that World Cup, because it's going to be a feisty World Cup. Samoa obviously there. Oh, Kurt Catewell grabbing at his peck here. God bless him. Catewell grabbing at his peck. Hope he's okay. Herbie Farnworth pushed away from a couple of tackles. He'll get a great offload again. He's been fantastic on the offloads. I'm in a draft league on Sunday for Supercoach with some other people, and I want to get Herbs. I want to get Herbie pretty quickly. I think he's going to have a gangbusters year. And he'll be taken down 10 metres out, and you're seeing a great performance from him today as well. Catewell is not looking good with that left shoulder area. I don't know if it's pec or if it's shoulder, but he's back up and he's trying to defend for his life. And last tackle, Dolphins will just give it straight to the Warriors at the 10, first tackle. Love the retro jersey, brother. The legendary Seagulls. Get around the old Gold Coast Seagulls. Get him in. Second tackle, Hazen Mellors at the 15. Kirk Catewell will have to come off here. He's going to have to come off. As he's gone in for a tackle, it's like the shoulder of Jermaine Saka was gone directly into like this area. And it'll be a penalty to the Warriors in between the shoulder and the chest. He's down his haunches right now. He's not feeling good. Reece Welch looks like he's put on weight, meaning he will lose some speed. I thought Reece was bad in moments this morning, but also very good in other moments. But that's what he does. That is what he's known for. That is what he is known for. 5 minutes to go here in the first half. And Adam Pompey brings the ball to the halfway point on first tackle. Drink a toilet water will do that. Yeah, it's not recommended. It's not recommended. Warriors second tackle to the 44. You know what I'm not looking forward to? Streaming that Australia vs Oman game tonight. That is not what I'm looking forward to. Third tackle to 32. Wade Egan. He'll give it back inside to Tanner Boyd. And they'll get to the 25 here. Fourth tackle. Warriors have had plenty of opportunities in this game and kind of been their own worst nightmare. It's 6 again. For the Warriors, 18 metres out. They've been their own worst enemy in this game so far, the Warriors, because the Dolphins' defence just simply hasn't been good. But yet it's still only 12-10. However, the points that the Dolphins have scored have come off the back of a sin bin. For the Warriors with Jackson Ford, third tackle now, 3 metres away from the line. Wade Egan, he'll go to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd over the top. Dallin Watani is a Lesniak and will also come in and score basically under the post here. 16-10 with the kick to come. You can't take that one away from him. 3:54 to go here in the first half. It is 16-10 to the Warriors with a kick to come. Nice little play there. Quick hands over the top. See you later. Mr. Mullet will be Mr. Score. And Dallin Watani Lesniak will score right next to the post. Tell me how this Dolphins defense is getting them top 4 again. Tell me how it's getting itself going. You would be correct, Jay. You just got to think. I know you were around at the same time. Nate says, let's go DW. Is that what? Scott says, who's winning this year? Titans winning this year. You would know, Jay, who it is. B. Lloyd says, did I just read Broncos bottom 4? Are you crazy? No, he's just He's a Dragons fan, man. He's taking a piss. Ian says, Dolphins forget to bother with cardio this preseason. Look absolutely cooked. Well, Ian, what is the difference between this Dolphins team and last year's Dolphins team? What is the difference right now? Their defense is still not up to par. Their attack, I would expect to come good at some point this year, but their defense is still not up to par. It's still not up to par. Yeah, but also, B. Lloyd, I do notice that you do really come for people who criticise the Broncos in any format on this channel. So it's like, I'm very well aware you're a Broncos fan, even though he's taking the piss and he's talking shit. And I get it. Like, I do notice that you can't seem to handle an opinion on the Broncos. Just like I never used to be able to handle an opinion on the Titans, but I changed, and now I can... You know, if I get criticism, it's like, whatever. Isn't this the bloke who claimed Dragons were robbed when conceding 50? Ah, Mitchell, you remember? Of course, I'll always defend my team. Yeah, but sometimes you're a bit silly with it. There's a time, it's like, I'll defend my team, but you've also got to be understanding of why people are saying what they're saying. Like, I remember when you commented a negative opinion on my video, which I've taken back now on the basis that the rules didn't happen like I thought they would. They said they were going to bring in the kickoff rule. They said they were going to bring on this kickoff rule, and I thought that would negatively impact the Broncos, and I provided you with the reasoning why. And he still said like I was like delusional or something. And I was like, what? I'm just providing you with an opinion based off of what I said it literally in the video. You know, so it's like defend your team, but at no point of the video was your team being shit on. I've seen this a couple of times now. That's why I'm pointing it out, man. Sometimes there's a difference between defending your team and also going against, picking the wrong kind of battles is what I would say. Tanner Boyd at the 40 gives it off to Hansen. Hansen now at the 35. The 30 is away here. Oh, that defense is dreadful. And they're 18 metres away from the line. I give it off here to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd at the 15. He's going to run it himself here. Oh, that was awful from Tanner. He's looking for an offload. And then just knocks the ball on. Knocks the ball on. And the Dolphins will bring this ball out here to the 30 on second tackle. 1 minute and 13 to go here the first half. There's been some decent attacking here from the Warriors, but again, the Dolphins' defense has not been up to scratch at all. And we will see two completely different teams in the second half. So this is the half that you're focusing on and knowing about and caring about more than the other one. That's a knock on there from the Dolphins. So Warriors, you have 50 seconds if you want it. No, knock on Warriors. They're going to say it was knocked on as the Dolphins are trying to pass it. He didn't know what they were going to call that. It's funny that you do remember that though, Mitchell. Dolphins at their own 40. They've got 30 seconds here. 30 seconds. Can they get something going? Isaiah Katoa at the back. Great defense from Luke Hansen. Rushes up out of the line and locks down Averillo before they can open up down that right edge. Selwyn Cobbo will bring this ball to the 45. Second tackle. 6 seconds to go here the first half. I don't think much is going to be changing. Don't think much is going to be changing. Luke, good afternoon, mate. Get around you. Averillo flicks the ball at the back to Isaiah Katoa. He'll pass it across. And that will be just about that. That'll be just about that for the Dolphins. Tavita Fahu taken down at the 43. Kurt Catewell, I don't think he's going to feature in this second half. You can see he's definitely feeling something. Definitely feeling something here. And halftime, it's going to be Warriors 18, Dolphins 10. Obviously, guys, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. We still have another game after this. We've got a game and a half today, and then I've got to do Australia versus Oman later. But we do have Tigers versus Panthers. And that'll be right after this one. Right now, I wouldn't say this game has been the most exciting of games, but you're never really going to have that blood-pumping excitement from a preseason game overall. But I do think that from that first half, I've taken some positives out of the Warriors, that their attack does look a little bit better. Tanner Boyd has been doing well, so was Luke Hansen, to be fair, and that's who they're going to need to get them through the first 6 rounds at the very least. So, no, I think that their attack has been working a lot better, but I also just continuously look at that Dolphins defense and say, it's just shit else. It really is. Nothing's improved from last year. Nothing has improved, and I just don't understand why it's the same. I get this is preseason, but nothing has changed from last year to the game against the Titans and now the game against the Warriors here. Benny West says, I'm sure Wally Lewis was captain coach at Seagulls. Did he get 2 salaries? You'd hope so, mate. You'd hope so. I was a bit too young at the time, though, to know that one. Jason says, what bet should I place? You shouldn't bet on anything right now because it's the preseason. And this is the worst time of the game to probably bet too, mind you, on the basis that the second half we're just going to see some hated little loosey-goosies. The reserves come on in the second half. That first half was, the two full strength-ish teams, pretty much full strength teams of both teams. So that was the one to kind of get on. But just be very, very careful in regards to betting on this second half because you are going to see famous names like Kailis Fatialofa for the Warriors and Rodney Tuipulotu Vea and Paya Sikovea. And then for the Dolphins, you're going to see some famous names like Adaquix Jeremiah, Watchalong, Sangster Fangota, Elijah Mackay, and Brian Puniu. A little bit of Elijah Rasmussen as well. So be very careful about betting on the second half, man. Someone has to score, Hey, look, that's great. It's a great point, Jason. It's a fantastic point. Someone has to score. But also, they don't actually have to. to go back and rebuttal your point there, they don't actually have to. And my key question for you is who's going to be on to score? So, okay, someone has to score. But, Jason, who's going to be on? Because I'm sure that the Warriors are going to take off a good 6-7 of their players, and I'm sure the Dolphins are going to take off a good 6-7 of their players, and they're going to mix it up with a whole different team. So, who are you relying on to actually be in the game? Not only do you have to rely on them to score, but you have to rely on them to be in the game. To be in the game. Dasmate says, bet on everything. Remember, it's not a problem. It's a hobby. Quote via Michael Jordan. Oh, yeah, no, that worked out fantastic for him. By the way, the reason why I'm not just going through the halftime stats is because, guys, this is preseason. If you really want me to read through the stats, I can. But the stats aren't going to give you any help in regards to how the rest of the game will play out. When the regular season is on, we will go through every single stat. We'll give you a good read of how the first half went and how its trajectory is looking for the second half. And we go into everything, as you guys know. But there just really isn't too much of a point here. You just be hearing numbers for the sake of numbers. I can give you some really the biggest stats here that you can, I guess, take into the season. The one we're looking at for defense is the Dolphins. They're at 85.96 on an effective tackle percentage right now, which is just not good. 85% and below is disgusting. 85% to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker, and 90% and above is unbelievable, fantastic. They're at 85.96%, so they're just on the brink of disgusting, but they're in the underwhelming category on the extreme low end. Tackles made 196 for 20 missed tackles and 12 ineffective. Now, the 20 missed tackles is 3 above the highest, so the averages are 15 to 17.5, whilst the ineffective tackles of 12 is 5 above the highest of the 5 to 7 average that you normally see for ineffective tackles. So 86.34% is not great, but the key thing here as well, though, is the Warriors. They're actually at 78.18%, which is one of the worst effective tackle percentages that you're actually ever going to see. 129 tackles made for 20 missed tackles and 16 ineffective, so they've had 2 more missed tackles than... 2 more missed tackles than what the Dolphins have had, so 3 above the highest of the average there. The Dolphins just updated to 18. Or did I say that before? I can't remember. But the Warriors, 78.66, 20 missed tackles and 15 ineffective, so they're 3 above the highest of the averages, and the ineffective tackles is 8 above the highest of the averages there of 7. So 15, 20, that's 35 bad tackles in the first half compared to the 30 bad tackles for the Dolphins. 78.66 is putrid from the Warriors, but they are up 18-10. Errors-wise, both these teams have made a ridiculous amount of errors. It's 7 for the Warriors and 6 for the Dolphins. It's just really bad. A lot of penalties in this game. 4 penalties against the Dolphins, 2 penalties against the Warriors. Warriors have also had a sin bin in that too. Play the ball speeds very, very fast for the Dolphins at 3.12, whilst they're very average 3.41 for the Warriors. And completion rate 70% for the Dolphins, not good. 80% for the Warriors is right on the marker there. Warriors about 59% possession to 41% possession for the Dolphins. And the run meters is pretty good for the Warriors at 921 from 105. and the Dolphins are at 770 from 77. So that's right on the dot of 10 metres on average per run. So if you actually give them the same amount of runs, if you take the 77 to the 105, that's 87, 97. That's 28 more runs, 280 metres. That's 870. That's 970. That's 1,050 metres compared to the Warriors at 921. So the Dolphins are actually doing really well in regards to their run meters, and the Warriors are a little bit behind that overall. But at the end of the day, this game's going to completely change, guys. It will completely change in the second half. That's why I don't focus too heavily on the stats. Because these two teams will change. Lee is awesome with the $5 donation. Get around your Lee. Thanks for the support, brother. Says, okay, second half, Warriors over under 9.5 points, Dolphins 15.5 points. Your thoughts with backups? Thank you. Well, I think I'm right in regards to that Warriors plus 5.5, to be completely honest with you. I think I've got that right, but the under is not looking likely for the other one with that. Again, be careful on le Preseason. Be very careful on Preseason. But this second half is way more hard than the first half on the basis that we are going to see a lot of the reserves come in, right? Just have a drink here quickly. We are going to see a lot of the reserves come in. So you're saying Warriors over under 9.5 points, Dolphins 15.5 points. I will say, oh man, I think it'll be under for the Dolphins on the basis that their first team just then. Are you saying over than 15.5 points in total, as in like one more converted try? If you're saying one more converted try, then sure, yeah. If you're saying that they need to get 26 points here and 15.5 from here, then I'd probably say no, because they're going to take off a lot of their guys from mine, I would assume. For the Warriors, though, I actually like them for over 9.5 because I feel like they'll keep Tanner Boyd out there for the most part, and they'll keep Luke Henson out there for the most part because these guys will be their harvest for the first 6-7 games of the season, depending on when Luke Metcalf comes back. So they want as much fluidity that they can possibly get out of these two guys right now. So I would assume they play a good portion, good chunk of the second half. So I probably would go Warriors to get 2 more tries. And they'd only need 1 more converted. Jason says, so basically you're saying under 53.5 with that who's going to score logic. Oh, Jason, you just tried to... That's not what I've said. That's not what I've said at all. I would actually lean with the over. I would lean with the over there, to be completely honest with you. But gambling, you guys are doing your thing with the gambling. Don't blame me if it loses. This is pre-season, lads. You know, this is pre-season. But no, I would say over. It's just that who do you know will be in the team in the second half? This is not a regular season game. They're not going to play their full strength squad for the full 80 minutes. This is a game that has unlimited interchange and a whole bunch of reserves. I bet $20 on Warriors first half. Well, there you go. Slap that up. Both teams to go over. Second half will have completely different teams. Yeah, but how's their attack and how's the defense going? Structure of the Warriors has still got them over the line, despite the fact they have been putrid on the effective tackle efficiency. Up the Bunny says, why did the Gold Coast change their name so much? I reckon Seagulls would have made more sense based on the Seagulls that are in the Gold Coast, and it is a terrible animal. Well, Seagulls folded. Seagulls folded, and they're not going to go and try and relive past history in regards to that. You know, you're going to try and come up with a different name, and it's they tried to come up with the Dolphins, but then the Dolphins, which would have made sense for the Gold Coast, would have actually made more sense for the Gold Coast than Redcliffe, because the Gold Coast is well and truly known for going dolphin seeing and whale sightseeing and all that type of shit, right? And the Gold Coast is beautiful, and Redcliffe Beach is an absolute mess. It would have made a lot more sense to the Gold Coast, but I understand why the Redcliffe did arc up about that. So no, they folded, mate. They folded like a lot of other Gold Coast franchises did. Gamble responsibly, everyone. Mitchell says, if you bet losers, throw tomatoes at Blazers' window. Yeah, go for it, mate. You're going to have to get on a flight to Vietnam, though, and I'm actually going to a different place here in Ho Chi Minh on Monday. No. Tuesday. On Tuesday, I'm going to a different apartment for the next month before I head off to the Philippines. So, you know what? If you can find me, good luck, son. You want me to show you outside? I'll show you outside. Oh, well, it's going to be too bright. You won't see outside right now. But I'll show you my window. I'll show you how high up I am. If you can throw a tomato at this window, I don't know if you can see anything out there, but I'll see if I can see it. You can't see... Can you see anything? No, you can't see literally anything. But anyway, I'm like 14 floors up, mate. I'm like 13, 14 floors up, looking over the city of Ho Chi Minh. So I don't know if you're going to be able to get the tomatoes up here. But good luck. You know what? Good luck. I'll buy you a damn well T-bone steak if you can hit a tomato on my window. Because not only that, but you don't even know which apartment block I'm in. A6 says, man, I'm so excited for this season. I feel like this season is going to have the most whack ladder we've seen. Hey, listen, maybe, man. Last year was pretty whack overall, but look, I hope so. You're right. I hope you're right. Jason says, well, I'll be back in 25 minutes. Made the best logic win. There was no logic here, Jason. We didn't do any logic. There was no logic here, there, or anywhere. What logic? Where was the logic that went into this preseason game? I didn't provide you anything of any kind of significant note besides... You haven't even told us your logic. What logic is being logicked here? Mozza says, take this into consideration. Warriors are still playing with a depleted team and still giving Dolphins a crack. Also, Qatar and Origin, I don't ever want to hear that in the same sentence. Don't hold back, Mozza. Tell us how you really feel. Yeah, sure, but also the Titans did the same thing to them last week. The Titans didn't have anybody in their team, really. You know, they didn't have AJ Brimson. They didn't have Jaden Campbell. They didn't have Keanu Kinney. They didn't have... Bowie Firma, they didn't have Mo. They might have Mo, did they? I think they might have Mo. They didn't have Tino. You know, obviously they're changing as a complete team, and they've got a new coach now. And the Titans beat them 24-12, and the only guys that were really missing from the Dolphins was guys like Herbie Farnworth, maybe Nicarima, and Hamisa, and Hamisa's not playing here today. So pretty similar teams, just with the inclusion of Herbie Farnworth and Cody Nicarima. However, with that being said, you know, the Warriors last week also lost to a very understrength Manly team, and they had more strength as a team, the Warriors and the Manly Seagulls did. So what I'm trying to point out there is that, sure, you're right, but the Titans did the same thing to them. So it's kind of more of a... Unless you're trying to big up the Warriors... If you're trying to big up the Warriors here, then this makes sense. If you're trying to downplay the Dolphins, then I get it, because I'm on your wagon in regards to the Dolphins. I don't know why people are so hype on them this year. Their defense has not shown any improvement whatsoever. They're the exact same team as last year. Can score points, can't defend at all. And that's what we saw through the first 5-6 rounds of last season, especially the first 4 when they were 0-4 to start their year. So... if you're talking about this is a good sign for the Warriors, I would argue that this game is more so showing a lot more about the Dolphins than it is the Warriors, based on the fact that the Titans and the Warriors have done the same thing to them. Now, the Warriors have to go and do the job with them. But the second half has started here, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. I hope that made sense, because sometimes my brain goes in so many different ways. That's a penalty to the Warriors here. My brain goes in so many different areas that I can kind of get distracted from my own point at times. A lot of predictions is on Monday. Kayla's Patoko try incoming best Warriors player. Best Warriors player. Well, there you go. Mitchell says, if we don't see the Telstra ad at all during the preseason, I'm going to write a complaint. Yeah, well, hey, Mitchell, why don't you complain in a 5-minute timeout for even reminding us that Telstra ad existed? You deserve it, Mitchell. You deserve the 5-minute timeout. You've well and truly earned it. If I have to see that cuck whistle again, ever again, if I have to see him whistle ever again, I'm going to just mentally... spontaneously combust. I don't want to see the Telstra cuck whistler. I don't want to do it. So the fact that you've even reminded him that guy exists, it's a knock-on from Tanner Boyd to the 25. The fact you've even reminded me that he exists deserved a 5-minute timeout. Yeah. And you're lucky it was only 5, Mitchell. Full-time story says also weekend reminder the last time the Eels won a premiership, Peter Sterling had hair. That's true, full-time stories, but here's another little tidbit for you. They've never won a national competition. They've won a New South Wales Rugby League when it was all New South Wales teams, but they've not won a national competition. They've never beaten a Queensland team to a premiership. They've never beaten a New Zealand team to a premiership. They've never beaten a Melbourne team to a premiership. They've only beaten, all those other New South Wales teams. Who are they, Who is she? Who is she in regards to them? So if you are a fan of any team that wasn't around at the time, an Eels fan Eels fans don't have anything to really go off anyway, but definitely not with them. It's 0-0 compared. The Bonnie says, ever since I was young, I've always wanted more teams in the NRL, more rivalries, more fan bases, and more entertaining. A team in Christchurch and Adelaide we are set. Adelaide won't be happening anytime soon. Third tackle at 45. Christchurch is the big one that absolutely needs to be the 20th team. So the Dolphins good offload here. And it will be Jake Averillo who will be taking it at the 25. Good hit, 4 tackle. We've got 19 teams as it is from 2030 with the inclusion of Perth Bears and Papua New Guinea. We need that extra team. It'll be Christchurch for sure. It has to be. Create the North Island versus South Island rivalry. Left hand side to Saika Toa. Into the line. Trey Fuller. Trey Fuller. Tia White right time for the Dolphins. Kick. They will score. A little nifty man. Trey Fuller will get over the line and it will be a 4-point game with the to come. It says, I'll grow my hair until the Broncos win 5 straight. If I did that challenge with the Titans, never get a haircut again. To see Tual Peaky on the field, hope he has a good year. Last time he was on the comp, Jay was considered young. Well, Jay was considered young, but he was 60 at the time. He was still 60. When did they last win the comp? 1986? Or was it 86 that they last won? I know they won with Jack Gibson as their coach in like 81, 82, 83, I think it was. And then maybe they won in 86, if I'm not mistaken. 86. Was the other 3 years with Jack Gibson 81, 82, 83? Or was it 82, 83, 84? I think it was 81, 82, 86. 81, 82, 83, and 86. Maybe. 36 minutes to go here of the game. Is there like an injury concern with Hamiso? Why isn't he playing today? And they will put the ball through the goalpost. It is 18-16. It actually does look like there's a decent crowd turning up for this Tigers versus the Panthers game. I guess you are getting 2 full-strength teams without any points on offer. I would have liked more earlier on here, but I should have recognised that it was a work day. I swear Trey Fuller always has 2 to 3 mad highlights whenever he gets a match. Trey Fuller is so perplexing, Max Watson, because he can be unbelievable. He can be unreal, but he can also have just absolute shockers in defense and absolutely shocking moments, right? You know, he's just so up and down. But no, I like him. He is really unlucky that he's at a team that has a plethora of fullback options. And especially Hamiso, but I do think if Hamiso's not there, Trey is the guy. But he's unlucky that Hamiso is as good as he is in that fullback position. And then where else is he going to go? I don't know if he's good enough to be the consistent starter for the Sharkies if Will Kennedy doesn't work out this year with his one-year contract. Titans have about 50 million fullbacks, but then again, they're probably always looking for more. 4 tackle over the Dolphins, the 50. Trey Fuller will be taken down at the 30. Great run, 25. Wow, oh no, he might go over the sideline. No, he's fine. 25 metres out, fit tackle. Who else is looking? Eels, they've got Yongi. Manly, I actually don't know anything about Manly's team going forward. Knock on from the Warriors. Nope, knock on Dolphins first. Knock on Dolphins first and then Warriors. Oh, Taintor Picky's saying he didn't even touch this. Well, the Dolphins are challenging this. I was going to say, why would the Warriors be challenging this when he said that it was a knock on Dolphins first? But no, it is the Dolphins challenging it here. And did Taint really say he didn't touch that? There's no touch here from the Dolphins. Was he genuinely saying that he didn't touch that? Surely he wasn't saying that. Surely I misunderstood. This is a hard call here from the bunker. Is there enough evidence to overturn? Because there is a Dolphins hand here, and there is a Warriors hand. There's plenty of Warriors hand. Yeah, first knock on off Warriors. What's Tane to Picky arguing about, saying he didn't touch it? So challenge successful here. The Dolphins will get the ball about 15 metres out. Hammer is out due to minor shoulder injury earlier in the week. Or was he originally named to play, was he? If he retires soon, maybe Fuller can jump in. Doubt it. I doubt it. Roosters will have they have bigger fish to fry. They'll go for a big time fullback rather than a depth fullback at the Dolphins, where he does look decent enough, but I don't know if they'll go from Tedesco to Trey Fuller. I think they'd look for a bigger fish. So Dolphins, they're 5 metres away from the line, second tackle, and that's going to be a penalty against the Warriors. I think they're saying a strip or something. I don't know what he's calling here for the penalty, but it is a penalty. I know how Hammer got that injury. Shoulder injury, you know. So Dolphins now 3 metres away here from the line. And that's going to be another penalty here to the Dolphins. Gee whiz, they're just giving away penalties for free here at the Warriors. In the regular season, this would be a 2-point all day to tie it up at 18-18, but this is the preseason, so they'll go for the try. Francis Molo at the 5 Dragons would have still taken the 2-1 offer for sure. They love a good 2, don't they, Nath? A bigger fish like JC. Well, JC is a halfback right now, and I don't think he'll ever go back to playing fullback. I think, if anything, he'd go to a 5'8" position, which is what I would like him more so in, but I don't think he'll ever go back to fullback on a consistent level. Dolphins pick it up off the ground, and it is a try for the Dolphins. Try time, 20-18 with the kick to come. Well, if you're looking at this Dolphins team right now, it's like they've kept all of their main stars out there for the most part. I can see Tom Gilbert, Selwyn Cobbo, Isako just scored, Isako Toa's there. It's like they've still got all their main guys here. The Warriors have taken a few of their guys out for sure, though. But the Dolphins will score. Good pick up there. Yeah, 26, 18, 16. Yeah, Warriors have got a lot of their benchies on, but the Dolphins are keeping out their starters. They are keeping up their starters right now. K Dunn says, is Herbie injured? Is he? He's been in this game. He had a really good first half. Is he off the field? If he's off the field, that'd be because they're just not using him for the second half. But he had a really good first half, Herbie Farmworth. Surprised Fisher Harris isn't playing. I'm surprised. I'm also not surprised. I am also surprised. Don't even worry if Kalis Paul Potoko's on. We are good. What's the obsession here with Kalis Paul Potoko? Jermaine Isako from the right-hand touchline. That's a nice jersey. No, it is good. It is good. Jermaine Isako here from the wing. Can he take it to a 4-point game? He's only missed the 1 kick so far. Isako is a good kicker. And Isako will miss the kick. So we'll say it's a 2-point game. Go for the 2-point field goal, Warriors and Cats. Go for the 2-point field goal. Nah, look, if the Roosters were going to sign a fullback, their thoughts are definitely more so going to be on... Their thoughts would be absolutely more so on guys coming through. Like, there is still the option of Joey Manu coming back too from rugby, mind you. I don't know how old he would be coming in though. But with that being said, there is that option. I don't know how long Nwanga Tuase will go. Like, there is a big chance that he comes back after the World Cup too. I don't think that he's a fullback by any means, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't put it past him. But like those kind of big name stars, Trey Fuller isn't a big name star. He's a depth option at the Dolphins. That's a knock on for the Dolphins here. He's a depth option at the Dolphins. That's a really good depth option. I don't know how good he would be on a consistent 27-round season where he is the fullback, starting fullback every single week. Ponga is a great shout, B. Lloyd. That's another one. Yeah, Ponga is definitely one that I would be looking towards. I wouldn't even be surprised if they tried to knock on the door of a Keanu Kenny, but the Titans would just not allow that to happen. First tackle here for the Warriors. They're 20 metres away from the line. Sorry, second tackle. Tanner Boyd at the back. And Tane Tuapiki will be taken down to the 22 on third tackle. 30 minutes to go here in the game, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Dream Ball is another great one, B. Lloyd. Subscribe if you're new around here. We'll be live for every single game of Rugby League in 2026. We haven't missed a game so far, and we will not miss a game this year. Tanner Boyd to Jacob Laban. And they'll be 5 metres away here from the line. Sam Healy, Tanner Boyd kicks it through, played it here from the Dolphins, and I think it's a knock on here from the Dolphins. Yeah, it will be. Warriors are going to get a fresh set of 6 here, 10 metres out. All right, Sean, I will see you then, mate. And I need you, Sean, for that Australia versus Oman game. Because I don't know how many people are going to be wanting to watch Australia play when we've had an absolute shit fest of a World Cup. An absolute diabolical shit fest of a World Cup. I need as many of you guys to stay up with me as humanly possible. It might be a quick game. We might be able to just finish off the group stages quickly. But also, if Australia lose that, I might headbutt my own self. I might headbutt myself in the nose if we lose to Oman, even though there's no impact to the game. And Adam Pompey, he's going to be 10 metres away from the line. Logan says, isn't there rumours of Buller leaving the Tigers? I think it's to the Roosters. I think it is the Roosters who are knocking on the door. Soldiers are needed. Oh, gosh, soldiers are so needed, mate. So needed. Not to, like, defend us. I can defend us, but, like, just to have the chat roll and, knock on, bad mistake for the Warriors and the Dolphins are going to get the ball here 10 metres out. Just to keep the chat rolling, you know, because it's going to be such a dead game with no impact. Taste us to World Cup. Yeah, we do the T20 World Cup here, mate. We'll be live we will be live every single day until March 8th because we've got the T20 World Cup every day. In the finals now, Super 8 start tomorrow. They start tomorrow. What time? It'll be about 2 hours after the NRL game finishes. So I think we'll start, like 11:15 p.m. Queensland time and 12:15 a.m. New South Wales time, so it's a late one. Dolphins, Trey Fowler kicks the ball over the top, and Warriors will knock it back. Taintor Picky's away here. Taintor Picky's away here. Oh, taking it to 40. No, gets up. Still going. 45. Great run from Taintor Picky. Harrison says, go on then, Warriors. Harrison, do you know who you support, mate? I don't know if you know what you're talking about. I know you don't know what you're talking about, but I don't know if you know that you don't know that I know that you definitely know nothing about what you're talking about ever. So third tackle out of 30. And that's saying something. That's saying something. Out of the right-hand side, New Zealand's still in the competition. New Zealand will be in the Super 8s. Their bowling's probably not good enough, but their batting's very, very good. Third tackle, now fourth tackle for the Warriors, and they are going to be 20 metres out. Could he get the offload away, Jackson Ford? No, 18 metres out, fourth tackle. Sam Healy, he'll go out to the left. Tanner Boyd, fit tackle, kicks it through. Where's the bounce? Sits up here perfectly, but it will be a dropout. That bounced perfectly for Tanner Boyd and the Warriors, which forced the dropout. Harron says, is it true what they say about the Titans being garbage? Not true at all. They won their last game, Storm, they lost their last game. Panthers, they lost their last game conceding 66 points. Titans, they won their last game 24-12 over the team right now, currently winning 20-18. So, you make up your own mind, mate. I don't know if the Titans will ever lose a game ever again. They haven't lost a game in 2026. They haven't lost a game in 2026, champion. You're going to start learning this, Harrison. Who are you going to take the advice of? Whoever those cats are, or are you going to take my advice? I think you're going to take my advice here, champion. Second tackle now, 15 metres out. Only on Tuesdays. Yeah, Titans aren't too good on the old Tuesday. Not a good Tuesday team. Third tackle, and that's a knock-on from the Warriors. Knock-on. The Bunny says, Titans could have a decent year this season. The young guns are doing their part. Yeah, had a good game last week, and hopefully they do well against the Storm tomorrow with full-strength teams. Hopefully we see the Titans put in a good effort against the Storm up at the Sunshine Coast. We'll be live for it. But Jackson Ford gets smashed by Mola. Finally a little bite out of BKR. When did I bite? Wait, what did I bite on? Oh no, there's going to be a bin here, I reckon, for Francis Molo. Are they saying this is a shoulder to the face? Oh boy, yeah, he's hit his head. This is a bin. This is a bin. Yep, I'm reporting in the bin. Francis Molo goes to the bin. Warriors receive the penalty. If they're the Dragons, they take the 2 here, but it's a preseason for everybody else, so they will go for the try. If there's one day to not be good on, it is a Tuesday. Yeah, look, Wednesdays, Titans go pretty well. Mondays are the best Titans never lose a game on Monday. I don't actually think we've lost a game ever on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. No, we may have Monday once, but Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't believe the Titans have ever lost a game ever. I don't think the Titans have lost a game ever on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I'm still trying to figure out what I bid on. Second tackle now, 3 metres out from the line. Samuel Healy, he'll go outright to Tanner Boyd. Oh, 6 again. Coming up for the Wars. 5 metres out. 6 again. Sam Healy to a picky short ball into the line. And that is a try for Adam Pompey, who's going to run straight onto the post. And that good old Dolphins defense. What a moment. What a time to be alive. Very, very typical. 22-20 with a kick to come, and it should be 24-20. And you know why? I asked the chat, why is it about to be 24-20? I put this question back to you. It's a very obvious answer. It's a very simple question. Why is it about to be 24-20? Oh, is it Leah Tower, is it? Is it Leah Tower? Oh, yeah, it is actually Leah Tower. Adam Pompey's on the other side. It's Leah Tower. I got this wrong last week, too. Tanner doesn't miss, Jared. You're right. Tanner doesn't miss. Tanner does not miss. Never missed before in his life. Harrison says, no, betting on ice hockey today. Huge game, Slogan. Yeah, no, we're not going to listen to anything that you have to say in regards to gambling because you've never won a bet on this channel before. Never. Not once. Every single bet, and this is not an exaggeration, every single bet that you have come through on this channel, you have lost. Every single one. Every single one. Tanner Boyd here. They will be up by 4. So the score goes from 22-20 to 24-20, and he just doesn't miss. He just does not miss. Tay says Tanner doesn't miss and Titans don't lose. Exactly. Exactly right. By the way, if you are a Warriors fan, you have some hope this year. There is some, maybe this year, Warriors merchandise in the pinned comment. You should go check it out. I've actually had a whole people buying the bucket hat there, which looks really cool. But there is a bucket hat of maybe this year. It's actually one of my favourite designs that I did. One of my favourite ones. So 24.5 minutes to go here of the game. And it is 24-20 here. To the Warriors. Dolphins with the bin. No, Brenton, he's just being honest. He's not being a sucker. He's being honest. You know, Brenton, have you ever seen Tanner Boyd miss? I don't think you have, mate. I really don't believe you have. I think you'd be lying to yourself, and I think you'd be lying to your family, and I think you'd be lying to the whole city of Newcastle. That's a high tackle penalty here against the Dolphins. The Warriors are going to get a penalty at the 25. You would be just lying to everybody that you know, Brenton, that if you say that Tanner Boyd has missed before. It's just not true. It's just not true. So 24 minutes to go here of the game. Full-time says, told you both teams will go over. You know, I just didn't know. Well, firstly, the Dolphins haven't gotten to the 26 yet, but the Warriors have gotten there. They have gotten there 9.5 or whatever it was. So got that one right. But the Dolphins haven't gone over yet. I wasn't expecting them to play their full-strength team for this long, though. They've still got pretty much their full-strength team out there, dude. So second tackle at the 25, now third tackle, and Healy will be taking it down to the 15 on fourth tackle. 15 metres out, can the Warriors get over the line again? 6 again for the Warriors. Aaron Clark gives it off, and now they're going to be 5 metres away from the line here, the Warriors. First tackle. First tackle. Sam Healy, he gives it to Tanner Boyd. Tanner Boyd, Aaron Clark. Aaron Clark. Here's Luke Hanson. They've got numbers on the left-hand side. Hazen Mellors. Held up. Held up over the line, second tackle. Really good work there from Asai Katoa to put his body on the line, and he's down injured. God bless him. You don't want to say this. If you are a Dolphins fan, your heart is in your mouth right now. Asai Katoa is writhing around in pain. I don't think... Oh, no, he's grabbing at his calf here. Oh, no, he's grabbing at his calf here, Asai Katoa. This is awful news. This is why you don't play your full-strength team for the whole preseason game. But Asai Katoa is really grabbing at his lower left calf. And that looks like trouble. Full-time stories as well as number 13 looks a handful. How do you not know the big Ez Clark, mate? The big Aaron Clark. He's one of the greatest players of all time. Might be the best lock in history. best Gold Coast Titans player ever, and probably the best Warriors player in history. Talamatanisi Lesniak! Oh, what is he doing? Oh, that's so bad. Oh, that's actually going to be a knock on even the Dolphins. So Watanisi Lesniak gets very lucky here. Very, very lucky. Because he throws the ball back inside without even seeing who is in the inside. It's just a blind pass. Goes straight to a Dolphin, but then luckily enough, they catch it, then try to throw it to Trey Fuller, and then knock on. GTGT says, let's go defense. Yeah, we need to see it. Hattem says, who's Titans' potential halves pairing for the actual NRL season? I disagree with it, but it's AJ Brimson in the 5'8 and Jaden Campbell as the 7. That's the halves pairing they will go with. You'll see it tomorrow against the Storm. But I think AJ has got aspects of a 6, but I don't think he's a 6. And I think Jaden Campbell is a 6. And I don't think AJ's a 7. Luke Hansen here, 2 minutes away from the line, first tackle. And then I would personally have Lachlan Ilias and Jaden Campbell as the halves. I would. Especially after how Lachlan Ilias played last week against the Dolphins. Second tackle here for the Warriors, and they're 4 metres out here from the line. I know, Hatton. I know. Oh, beautiful passing. And this time it's a bing, bang, boom, slap. Warriors try time. Dallin with Tennies or Lesniak with boom, boom, boom. Try time. 28-20 with a kick to come to the Wires. And guess what? Brenton, I need you to tell me. Brenton, I need you to tell me, is Tanner going to get this kick or not, Brenton? Brenton, I want you individually to tell me, is Tanner Boyd going to get this kick or not? There's only one answer and one answer only. Sam Tompkins is the real best Warrior of all time. Mitchell, you're lucky we don't have a Warriors fan as a moderator on this channel. You're lucky that moderators can't time you out anyway. But a Warriors fan, you're lucky I'm not a Warriors fan, because then if I was, I would have timed you out for sure. Only pay attention to Queensland teams. Well, full-time stories, you've got to watch a lot more of our streams this year, man. Because we're live for every single game, and you need to get a better idea about all these other teams. Aaron Clark last year won Dally M Lock of the Year, no? Ed Clark won. Oh, he was robbed. What did he get? I can't remember. He should have won the Player of the Year at the Warriors, but they gave it to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, weirdly enough. Did he win Lock of the Year last year, Ez? No, Mozzer, he's taking the piss. Don't listen to Mitchell. He's a Tigers fan, and he's just all over the shop. Well, guess what? I'm going to tell you, unfortunately, Tanner Boyd has decided to forfeit this kick. He's decided they're not going to take the kicker today. 20 minutes to go of the game. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Tanner Boyd has decided that the kick is going to be forfeited just to keep the Dolphins in with a chance here. He's such a compassionate man. I've never seen a more compassionate man in my life. So, yeah, very grateful to see that Tanner Boyd has decided to forfeit a kick. The two-pointer will not be made, and they will just go back and... Brents to see that. Yeah, no, very nice man, Tanner Boyd is. Yeah, no, I saw him. I saw him saying to the referee, hey, listen, mate. It was just off the camera there, but I could see it. I could sense it. I got like that intuitive feeling. I could just see Tanner, just talking to the referee saying, we're not going to take this kick here today, mate. We're going to give the Dolphins a chance. Seb says, wow, Wars might win the comp. Yeah, thank you, Seb. Bit of a different conversation last week against Manly, but thank you. 19 minutes and 50 seconds to go here. Saikatoa. Oh, the Warriors are away here. Warriors are away here. Warriors are away. Oh, I can't even hear what they're saying about Saikatoa because the Warriors were running away. Brent's my gosh, Hannah. I know. How good is he? Just too good, mate. So Warriors are at the 48. 4 from 4 on kicks today. How good. 4 from 4 with 1 forfeited. So the Warriors are at the 40. They're pushing through. I think the Wires take this away from here, especially with his man at the bin for the Dolphins. Same old defense from the Dolphins, but Tane Tuapiki at the 15. Tell me again, Dolphins the top 4. Tane Tuapiki at 9 metres out from the line. Fit tackle. Can the Wires get past the thrifty 30? Can they get the thrifty 30? They kick that ball up top, round a post. Has he scored that? Oh my gosh, the Warriors have actually scored that. I don't know how he's caught this, but there is a try for the Warriors. Quite literally out of nowhere. There is no way he should have been catching that ball, but he does, and it's 32-20. It's about to be 34-20, and I know for a fact that we're not seeing Tanner Boyd forfeit this kick. I guarantee you, with my life, he gets it. With my life, he gets it, mate. Wait, is he still on the field? I don't think Tanner's actually still on the field, so we're going to take away that... we're going to take away that thought process. He won Lock of the Year at Dally M's because he went viral for not shaking clear his hand, which was quite funny. Well, it wasn't because he didn't shake Cleary's hand. That wasn't the reason. He was unbelievable last year's. Unbelievable. So 18 minutes to go to the game, and it was. Go boom, boom, boom. Who's going to convert now that Tanner Boyd's off? Eddie Ramaya Tuava with a brilliant, I don't know how he got it, but a brilliant take. Nathan Stacey Jones. Okay, well, I'll ask the chat the question then. Who do you have as the Warriors' best player of all time? I am going to say... It's so difficult between the two. It's going to be Taintua Biki converting here because Tanner's off. He was wanted to be... That's why I said he forfeited the kick and then decided to go off because he just felt too bad for the Dolphins. I get it. And now Taintua Biki, Gold Coast Titans legend, comes on to kick this. Best Warriors player of all time. You got guys like Stacey Jones. You got the big fella Shawnee J. Simon Mannering was unbelievable. He was unbelievable, Simon Mannering. I will, guys like Manu Vatava on the wing, obviously, you're never going with the winger as the best ever. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, unbelievable as well, but I don't think I could go Rog. I don't know if this is like recency bias. I really would like to go Shawnee J, but it probably is just Stacey Jones in it. It probably is. Warriors fans, what's your thoughts? Who's your best player of all time? It probably just is Stacey Jones, but Sean Johnson's done so much for your club. And then we get Dad's mate with an idiotic Chris Inu. he's just a clown, that Dad's mate bloke. He really is. You are the reason the Patriots lost when you're saying Chris Inu is the best Warriors player of all time. Sam Tompkins, the best ever what? Yeah, you're an idiot as well. So it's going to be second tackle now for the Warriors, and they're going to get this ball to the 20. Hattem says, I hope the Titans do well to just fill the top 8 this season. I wouldn't care if we lose in the top 8 as long as we can make it in the quarter. Oh, wait, you're a Titans fan? Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were a Wires fan before. Just to fit in the top 8. Look, I don't think we will, but at the end of the day, man, I'm taking a successful season as long as we finish in the top 11. Because I feel like it's just too much to be saying it's a make or break kind of year if you have to make the top 8 or not. For big teams, big contextual teams, Roosters, if they don't finish in the top 6, top 4, if they don't finish in the top 4, it's a disappointing season. Dolphins shot the ball over the sideline. The Warriors will get the ball here at the 30. Still a man in the bin for the Dolphins, mind you. Warriors will get the ball at the 30. It's a 14-point lead if it was. The Roosters, if they don't make the top 4, it's a disappointing season, right? You got to think in context. For the Warriors, it'd be if they don't make the top 8. For the Broncos, it'd be if they don't make the top 2. Storm, top 2. Sharks, I'd say, is top 4. Sharks realistically should be if they don't make it to the grand final because they made 2 prelims in a row. If they regress, then they're just going to get slanted into oblivion. But teams like the Titans, the Tigers, the Knights and whatnot, you should be having a successful season around that 11th spot and above. If you get anything higher, then that's a massive, massive bonus. That's a massive bonus. But I do have my... he's going to over the sideline here. Yep, he's over the sideline. So this will be Dolphins ball at 10. You can't go past Stacey Jones or Sean Johnson. Michael Luck always gets talked about by the boys. He's underrated, I think. Would you say Michael Luck's above Simon Mannering, though? I'd probably go, if gun to head, I'd say Stacey Jones, then I'd go Sean Johnson, then Simon Mannering. But that's from an opinion of a youngster, watching back in the day as well as Stacey Jones and Mannering the likes. Well, not that Mannering was too far back. Second tackle of the Dolphins at the 20, 15 minutes to go here in the game. Brother, Sharks for some reason are always the dark horse to me. Well, you can't really call them a dark horse. They've been in the preliminary final 2 years in a row, and they're always, there or thereabouts. I wouldn't necessarily say they're a dark horse. That's a forward pass. Well, that was a 100% forward pass. Either way, it's going to be kicked out in the full, so it doesn't matter about that. But it should have been a forward pass. Should have been. How many years was in with the Warriors for? 1. How many grand finals did they make? 1. Thanks. Yeah, you need help, Daz. You need serious help. How many grand finals did they win with him? Also, wasn't Sean Johnson in that same time as well? Trey fits at Sharks as fullback well. No, I disagree. I don't think that he is a week-to-week fullback, but I do think that he's a really good depth option fullback that can really kill it when needed to, but I don't think he's a consistent 27 rounds fullback for 9+ finals. I just think that there is too much up and downs to his game. Sometimes he plays really, really well, and sometimes he doesn't. 4 tackle now for the Warriors. They're 15 metres out. Luke hands up to Samuel Healy. Healy then to number 29 here for the Warriors. Who's number 29? Paya Sikovia. Tuapiki kicks it. Still fit tackle. Still fit tackle. I don't know why he runs back short side, but all the Dolphins players are all over here. So spread it out left. They're going to kick this ball over the top here from Samuel Healy. And Dolphins will get the ball to the 10. And it's going to be first tackle the 18. Jazz, did you talk about your preferred spine for the Titans? My preferred spine would be Connor Kenny 1, would be Jaden Campbell 6, would be Lachlan Lee 7, and Sam Verrills 9 is what I would go with. That's what I would go with. Third tackle now for the Dolphins. They'll get this ball here to the 45, 4 tackle. Jacko says something stupid. Nay says, maybe I'm tripping here, but did Matt Ridge play for the Wars at some point after Manly? Matt Ridge played for the Titans? But I feel like Matty Ridge might have also played for... Oh, no, I'm thinking Ben Ridge, sorry. Ben Ridge was at the Titans. Matt Ridge... Rugby union for Auckland and All Black, but never won an international cap. He played for Manly and the Warriors. Yeah, he played for Manly for 6 years and then Auckland Warriors for a couple of seasons after that. But I'm really looking forward to later on. You know, got a nice little mango smoothie coming, which is going to be awesome. Can't wait for that. 4 tackle now at the 45. At the 45, now fit tackle at the halfway point for the Warriors. Brent Naden is a Dogs legend. Yeah, might be the best Dogs legend of all time. Fit tackle here for the Wars. And now they'll kick this ball down to the 10, and I can understand why Dad's mates removed that comment from Lagan. Definitely makes sense. Great kicker, Matt Ridge. He was Tanner Boyd-like. Well, it wouldn't have been as good as Tanner Boyd, but, you know, Matt Ridge definitely could kick a ball, that's for sure. You know, when you think of the best kickers of all time, you're thinking guys like Halligan, fantastic kicker. Jonathan Thurston. You're thinking, who's another? Hazem Al-Masri. And they're here. And then Tanner Boyd's kicking's here. They're looking up at Tanner Boyd's feet dangling up here. That's how good Tanner Boyd's kicking is. Oh my gosh. It's surreal. It really is. It's absolutely surreal. It's actually quite disgusting if you think about it, how good Tanner Boyd's conversion kicking is. Mitchell says, never heard a more true statement from BKRsport. Yeah, no, I agree, Mitchell. You know, a couple of good comments here and there. Let's not mention Jonathan Thurston, please. Yeah, Bulldogs legend does, mate. Bulldogs legend. 11 minutes to go here in the game. Well, Dolphins looking same old coming into this season. Losing both of the... Oh, by the way, we should actually look at the stats to see what the Warriors' bonus points will be like. Dolphins are away here, though, the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15. Fit tackle, 15 metres out. I'll look at the bonus points after this this final play of the fifth tackle for the Dolphins. Brad Schneider goes right. Here's a chance. Dolphins will get the try. There we go. The Dolphins get over the line. And it's Tavita Nafau with the try time. That will actually be their fifth try too, so they'll at least get a bonus point, even though they're not winning jack. But in regards to bonus points, so 5 tries for both teams, so they both get that. 6 tries for the Warriors. And 5 tries for the Dolphins. They both get 1. Warriors will get 12, you would assume. That's 13. 13-1. And then in regards to line breaks, they're Warriors 8, Dolphins 7, so they're both at 5. So that's 14 and 2. 14 for the Warriors and 2 for the Dolphins. And then offloads, 7 for the Warriors means that they still need 3 more offloads to get that bonus point. But the Dolphins do have 11. They've got their 10 offloads, so they're at 3. So right now it would be 14-3. It can be 15 if the Warriors do get those 3 extra offloads in this last 10 minutes. Dolphins, you won't see feature on this table. Warriors, if they can... Well, regardless, Warriors will go into 8, but they'll drop out of this table for sure. But if they can get another bonus point here, they would go equal with the Raiders, Tigers, Titans, and Dragons. I wonder what the Dragons are actually on. So the Dragons Let's go have a look at their points differential. Kick here for the Dolphins. They will get the kicks with 34 to 26. 8 points differential right now between these two teams. Warriors, obviously, last week, they had a minus 15 points differential. So they'd go to minus 9. Oh, no, they would need to... No, they'll finish below the Dragons regardless. Dragons got plus 6. Yes, Tay, there is a trial after this. It is the Tigers versus the Panthers. That's why you see all these Tigers fans here at the ground, because this is at Leichhardt Oval. So this is the doubleheader with the Tigers-Panthers right after this. Alrighty. So 9 minutes to go here of the game. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new around here. 9 minutes to go. Not enough taking 2 from the Dragons. Yeah, should have taken a few more 2s. Probably should have scored a few more tries against the Sea Rabbits team as well. I did see a content creator put the Dragons as their dark horse this year. I'm sure they have to be a Dragons fan. There's no one who is a neutral who watched that Dragons Rabbitohs game would have confidence the Dragons are going to be anything of any sort. Now, as soon as I asked that, they started showing the Tigers and Panthers jerseys. So Dolphins now will be 38 metres away from the line for tackle. Surely you noticed that this was at Leichhardt, though. Chaco says Arteta in. No, we definitely love an Arteta in. By the way, the Dolphins actually have a chance here. They're 30 metres away here from the line. 8 minutes to go here of the game. And the Dolphins will offload the ball to the ground and knock the ball on. So let's forget the fact that they might have a chance to win this game here. And we're going to say the Warriors probably go on to win this game. Who on earth's idea was it to let him go, honestly? And one is second because of Michael Morgan. Who's 24 and why is she wearing leggings? Who's 24 and why she's wearing leggings? Are you talking for the Dolphins or Sangster Fingota or Kalis Porpatoko? Are you talking about the Warriors? Oh, you're talking about for the Dolphins. Yeah, it's not cold, bro. Why you got the leggings on? Oh, it was actually a knock on Warriors, by the way. Sangster Fingota is who you're talking about. Yeah, still got 25 minutes on to the next game. Dolphins here, 10 metres out. They actually do still have a chance. We're going to bring that conversation back in. Herbie's been off the entire second half here, Nath. Been off the entire second half. Dolphins 5 metres away from the line. If they score here, game is back on. Second tackle, try time for the Dolphins. And there we go. Number 17 for the Dolphins, which is John Finianganofo. John Finianganofo will score, and it's about to be a 2-point game out of nowhere. So what you're telling me is the Dolphins have scored a lot of points here, and they're not winning, and they've conceded a lot of points. Wow, that's the first time I've ever seen this from a Dolphins team before. You're kidding me. You're telling me that you're going to be in a game where you're currently losing at 34, 32? You've scored 32 points and you're losing, Dolphins? This reminds me of a team from last year. And that would be the Redcliffe Dolphins of last year. Michael Appley, get around you for joining up as a member, my guy. Or is that... Yes, Michael Appley. There we go. Appreciate you, brother. Tasman says 24 on the Dolphins, that's worse than showering in your undies. The fact that you even think about that is just odd. You're just an odd character, Daz. You're just an odd character. 6 minutes to go here in the game. Would anyone be interested if we did like a 10-team draft or a draft on Supercoach this Sunday after the games finish? Just for a bit of a kick around. Just for a bit of a laugh, would anyone be interested if we put together a Supercoach draft for this Sunday night? I've never done that kind of stuff before, but I think I've done normal, but I just didn't kind of kick on with it. But I do have to actually focus this year for certain reasons. So if anyone would be interested, let me know. And I'll maybe put something together for after the games on Sunday. Lagan says Paul Gallen has a higher kicking percentage of all time. Not more than Tanner Boyd. That's for sure. Dolphins will get this ball at the end goal. It's a 2-point game. 5 minutes and 45 seconds to go here of the game. You never would have thought the Dolphins would be even in it a couple of moments ago. And now they've rocketed right back into it. Second tackle for the Dolphins at the 20. And that was going to be probably forward. Probably should have been forward pass, but it's going to be called a knock on here against the Warriors on the intercept opportunity. I would have said that pass was going forward into the knock on. Choice wins the season start next week, bro. Next week is Vegas. A brain-rattling, just absolutely incredible game between the Knights and Cowboys to start off the season next week. Oh, my gosh, I hope you're excited. And then Bulldogs-Dragons. It's a big bopper game, that. Massive bopper game. So Dolphins, second tackle. They will be at the 50. 5 minutes to go here in the game. Paul Gallen kicking in the same centre should result in jail time. Mitchell, did you know that I was at that game where he kicked a field goal? Paul Gallen kicked a field goal. Dolphins are away here at the 30, the 25, the 20. Third tackle. Dolphins are actually coming right now. These are two reserve grade teams, guys. So if you're a Dolphins fan, it doesn't mean shit. If you're a Warriors fan, it doesn't mean shit. There are two reserve teams on right now. Out the back, and the Dolphins nearly knock it on, and then the Dolphins do. No, they're going to call that backwards. Interesting. Third tackle at 25. Now fourth tackle, sorry. And they give it to Brad Schneider. Schneider playing as a halfback, even though he was the 9 originally. And then he will get an offload away to Finiangonofo. And he'll be at the fifth tackle at 15. I'm going to call him John, because his name is actually John. Finiangonofo is a hard one to say straight through. Goes out. Dolphins, chance, inside, Dolphins! I think he scored. I see the referee's in the way. Get out of the way, referee. I can't see. It is a try. The camera angle just had the referee blocking this. It's a try for the Dolphins. It is a try for the Dolphins at 36-34. We couldn't see the ball go down because the broadcast had the referee's ass in the way. Literally. Wasn't playing. Yeah, get your ass out of the way, ref, Jared. Exactly right. I couldn't. It's not the ref's fault. It's the broadcast fault. Who was the one who said to go to that camera angle when you could clearly see the referee was in the way? So now, the Dolphins are going to get those. If this game holds out, there's still 3 minutes 23 to go here. But if this game holds out, the Dolphins will be up by 4. So they'll go from minus 12 to minus 8. They will get 15 bonus points. They got 1 bonus point against the Titans last week. They'll get 3 bonus points plus the 12. They'll go to 16. So they would actually, for the time being, going into third. For the time being, they would go into third, but they'll drop down, obviously, significantly. G-Lass, let's go to Dolphins. And that was nice work from the number 20 here. Number 20 for the Dolphins, which is Brian Puniu. He has a big moment. And it is preseason. And again, the two teams you're seeing right this very second on the field, the two teams you're seeing here are not the full-strength teams whatsoever. But the key takeaway from this game is the first half when the Warriors won 18-10, when it was basically full strength on full strength. So Warriors fans, this game is more positive for you than the Dolphins. By a long way, because this is yet again proved the Dolphins can't defend, but they can attack. We didn't need to know that. We already knew that. So Brad Schneider, he will get the kick. Okay, well, 4-point game, 3 minutes 14 to go here. What can you do here, Was? What can you do? And don't forget, we will have the Tigers versus the Panthers right after this. We'll be live for it as well, so if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. But the Warriors, they're down for the first time in a long time. Disrespect to Premiership winner Brad Schneider. You don't know what you're talking about. Premiership winner Brad Schneider. That will do me. That will do me. And the Warriors decide to not go the short kickoff. They just kick it long, which is really odd decision making with 3 minutes to go here and down by 4. But you do you, Glenn Coco. First tackle at the 15. The preseason doesn't even matter. It only matters when the Titans win, Tay. If the Titans don't win, then it doesn't matter. Second tackle, and that's why preseason really matters right now. Yeah, Tigers and Panthers both have pretty much everyone. Yeah, pretty much. Good offload there from the Dolphins to the 40. And they'll get this ball to the 45 on third tackle. I don't know why they didn't go for a short kick there was. Makes no sense. 35 metres away on fourth tackle. We've seen a lot of points scored in Rugby League today. We saw a 30 points to 24 win for Hull KR over the Broncos this morning. We're now at 38-34 for the Dolphins against the Warriors. We've still got another game. We've had like over 120 points scored so far. Oh, good run by Tavita Nafahu. He's had a really good game here today, Tavita Nafahu. Really good game. Fit tackle at the 15. Brad Schneider gets caught in the line, rolling around, gets the off-fight away. And Dolphins will kick this one down. And can Tuapiki get out? He will get out. And they'll beat the 5. Okay, you've got a minute 54 here, Warriors. You're probably not going to get another set. And you've got to go literally 100 metres. Literally 100 metres here. So second tackle and now third tackle at the 10. Warriors aren't doing too much with this set right now. It's like they are treating this game like a preseason game. You're kidding. You're kidding me. 15 metres away and it's 4 tackle. Are you serious, Warriors? Are you serious? They're just doing one-up hit-ups? Fit tackle at the 23. A minute 17 to go here. The Warriors have just accepted defeat here pretty much. Okay, Hansen out. It's fit tackle there at the 30 and it gets flicked over the top. And now Doyle just kicks long and the Dolphins will catch the ball. That may have been the worst set I've ever seen in my life, considering the context of the game right now. May have been the worst set I've ever seen in my life. Might have been the worst ever. So second tackle now for the Dolphins at the 50. Just a reminder, this game has been more positive for the Warriors than the Dolphins. Good preseason game though. Yeah, no, it's been fine, mate. It's been fine, but I would prefer to see better defense overall. Thomas Flegler, he gets on the field. He'll be 35 metres away from the line. 29 seconds to go here of this game. They will get like 1 or 2 tackles. They will get 1 tackle here, the Warriors, but they'll have to go 100 metres. Go for a field goal. Go for a field goal. He goes for a grubber underneath. And, all right, you're going to get 2 tackles here, Warriors. And there'll be Leka Halasima who brings his ball to the 10. 10 seconds. You've got to go 90 metres. Hansen, Tuopiki. They go left. They got numbers here. They got numbers here. They got numbers here. And it's Paul Potoko. He steps back onto the inside. They're still going here, the Warriors. They're still going, and he's just going to get taken down with the ball. Why is he not trying to pass the ball, bro? It's only preseason. It's only preseason. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. But good game there, guys. No defense from either team. For mine, the Dolphins win 38-34. For mine, I find more positives from the Warriors and the Dolphins in that one on the basis that the first half teams were full strength and the Warriors won 18-10 and the second half was full of points. But the Dolphins have yet again proven that they can score a lot of points, but they can't defend any points whatsoever. They just consistently struggle to defend the line. It's actually quite ridiculous at this point. But obviously, it's only the preseason. We'll see how they go when it comes to the regular season starting from next week. But for them, it'll be in 2 weeks' time. Guys, I'm going to jump off. I'll see you in about 10-15 minutes' time for the next stream, which is the Tigers versus the Panthers to round out the Rugby League day. Do me a favour, hit that like button. Subscribe for new round here. And now, Warriors and Dolphins fans, that's your last game of preseason. Your finals. Not your finals. Your season is coming up from next week. No more will you see your team until we get going. But alright guys, I'll see you in about 10-15 minutes time. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.